It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stat Scoresworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on this Friday afternoon. Lee Alwyn Seabury also with us, training some more. It looks like maybe Monday we'll have him full ready to go with us, so very excited for that. But we're here to wrap up your week, get you to the weekend, and so much to talk about. We had the Western Conference Finals end last night. We've got college baseball all day today. We've got Major League Baseball this afternoon. But now with that Western Conference Finals ending, it's going to be a while, a whole week before we have NBA again. So it's going to be a lot of talk leading up to the finals this year. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, Bryant. The Dallas Mavericks, champions of the West. How many teams you think will start next year that you would consider, I'm not talking about leaps and bounds, 5 or 6 lengths if it were horse racing ahead of the Grizzlies, but whether it was, and I'm talking, if the race, I'm not talking about, I don't think anybody starts at the 3/4 pole ahead of the Grizzlies.
Right.
How many teams do you think start ahead of the Grizzlies?
Off the top of my head, I'll say.
And give me a length. Give me a length for them.
Oh, geez.
Down the stretch they come.
I would say.
But this is really kind of out of the gate.
Yeah.
There they go. Out of the
there
gate.
they go. Hot start for, let's say, 6 teams ahead of maybe 7 teams ahead of the Grizzlies. Just off the top of my head.
All right. So Dallas would be one of them.
Dallas. I think OKC is
A
ahead of them.
nose. A head.
I think
Half length.
maybe a nose. I like a nose.
This is the Grizzlies, fully healthy.
Sure.
In our year and a half of discontent over proven coach in Taylor Jenkins.
That's right.
Proven players, and we know the big 3, and then some.
Yep. Yeah.
So Dallas ahead, but I don't think it's something that's not attainable to catch up to them.
No. I don't really think any of these are super unattainable.
I don't either. Oklahoma City.
I would say Oklahoma City.
Nose.
Sure. Right there in front of them. Denver.
Minnesota.
I say Minnesota's ahead of them right now.
How far?
Not much.
Okay.
But certainly in front of them. So what's that? 4 teams?
Dallas, Minnesota, Denver,
OKC.
I still think Denver may be more ahead than any of the other 3.
I would agree with that. I think despite what happened this year in the playoffs, I think Denver is still the best team in the West. I think after that, Phoenix may be in there. I still like Phoenix a lot.
Ahead, but can run side by side.
Sure. Can definitely get close.
Same for the Lakers.
Sure, same for the Lakers.
Now all these teams could make moves.
Exactly.
Change things.
Exactly. This could all change very quickly for these teams. Clippers certainly there if they're healthy. They're ahead.
Ever so slightly.
Sure.
One of these teams we've just gone over. Now they may not have some of the off the court issues. They could.
Sure.
But somebody we just mentioned, and they may not play 33 players next year, but somebody we've just talked about will have an injury bug bite them really hard next year.
Of course, and that's
just somebody.
That's how it works. So definitely. But I'd say 6 or 7 teams that are maybe a little bit in front of them, but certainly the Grizzlies right in there,
and a couple running side by side,
sure.
Maybe 1 or 2 behind.
Sure. Yeah.
Utah, Portland, maybe behind.
Yeah, I would say Utah and Portland probably behind. Yeah. So those 2 teams kind of bottom of the West.
Bring on
the
next
Grizzlies. Yeah. No, I'm excited. I think I don't think there should be any.
Which is real easy to say.
Well, yeah. But I think that's kind of what you have to say after what last year was for the Grizzlies. You got to have
Joey
that
Brackets
hope.
is saying.
Well, Joey Brackets. We say it every once a month now that he throws out a bracket. Joey, go find a beach somewhere. Take some time off, relax
Joe
a little
Brackets
bit.
Loves him some Tigers. Now, I think in fairness to Joe Brackets, and I don't know him at all. I met him one time. He was the analyst on St. Joe games.
Yeah, that's right.
And they were in a regional in Birmingham in 2008, and I was there covering Tennessee.
All right.
And everybody else at the radio station was off covering the Tigers.
Of course.
I was in Birmingham. Joe Brackets, really, really nice man. I could post him up inside. You could run the point, Bryant.
I love it.
The odd one set a screen, me work him inside.
I love it. Oh, let's do it. Little three-man weave.
I could take him down low and deal on him.
That'd be great.
I could. I think he has the Tigers in as the automatic qualifier.
He does.
From the AAC.
He does.
But has as a 9 seed.
Sure, which is higher than the last time he had it, or 2 times ago he had it. Whenever he had him at an 11 at one point.
And we know 9 seed, 8 seed is no man's land.
Yeah, welcome back to pretty much every year for the Tigers in the tournament as of late.
In last year, I don't think the AQ team from the AAC was even a 9 seed, was it?
It was not, no. No. So, well, yeah, because who won? I can't even remember who won the conference tournament now.
Wasn't South Florida.
No, it was either FAU or UAB. Those were the 2 teams that were in
UAB
it.
did.
Well, okay, yeah, UAB was not the 9. I think FAU was, but they weren't the automatic qualifier. They just got a 9 for being FAU.
So we talked about the Grizzlies. How many those teams? How many start ahead of the Tigers
in conference?
Uh-huh.
I don't think any of them. Maybe I think UAB and FAU are right there, but I think Memphis is probably ahead of them.
UAB wouldn't think maybe by a nose?
I mean, maybe, but I'd still take the Tigers.
Ever so close?
Maybe. But I think Tigers right there. I think Tigers still ahead a little bit.
Today is May 31st.
Yep.
5 months ago was New Year's Eve.
That's right.
5 months from now will be Halloween.
Wow, how about that? All Hallows Eve. Wow. Yeah. Interesting. I did not put that together.
I wore my Halloween outfit today. You like it?
I love it. It's great, Brett.
Kind of scary, isn't it? A little bit spooky.
A
little bit frightening.
Make me jump a little bit.
Hide the little people.
No. Yeah, you can go see Brett's Halloween costume on Twitter and YouTube and Twitch, any of our streams.
Also got Tiger basketball news today. The Ole Miss game will be Saturday, December 28th. Mm-hmm. That feels like that could be afternoon in a Grizzlies game that night.
Feels like it. That'd be fun. I always like those
ideas. It'd be Saturday night. It'd be fun, or it'd be standalone like Clemson was last year.
And we've talked about this. I don't know if we've talked about it on air, but we've certainly talked about it off air. It always felt like getting Mississippi State and Ole Miss, that it was going to be whether it was Ole Miss first, Mississippi second, or Mississippi State first, and Ole Miss second. It felt like it was going to be back-to-back weekends, and that's what we're seeing now with Mississippi State on the 21st and now Ole Miss on the 28th. So that'll be a fun little 2-week span for the Tigers, and obviously that first weekend will be college football playoff, that first weekend for college football playoff, so that will be really fun, hopefully for Tiger football as well, and then you turn around that next weekend, and I would probably don't have a midweek game that week for the Tigers, so it'd be Mississippi State and then Ole Miss, which will be fun.
Joey Brackets has Mississippi State a 7 seed.
How about that?
In his bracket, and he has Ole Miss as a 8 seed.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, too good. I know, I think he has Missouri in there in his last 4 in. So, it's already 3 opponents that the Tigers will play in non-conference. We know what Maui will look like, but, definitely some good competition in there early in the season. It's
so early in the Joey Brackets world. I'm looking at his bracket. I'm sure this was just a place to fill in someone.
Yeah.
But are you looking at it?
I'm not, but I saw it earlier. I think I know what you're talking about.
11 seed in Denver.
Uh-huh.
Moving up, AQ.
Uh-huh.
Playing the 11 seed, hashtag capital letters REF exclamation point.
Yeah, I saw that earlier, and I was wondering,
look out for those teams.
Did nobody catch that when they were, before they threw it out
May
there?
31st, Brian, I mean, it's all fun and games
all
with
the editors
Brackets.
on ESPN.com are going, all right, Joey Brackets, another bracket, just throw it up there.
Times are tough at Disney.
I guess so. That's what I always hear, Brett, is times are tough at Disney.
Times are tough.
It's what I hear every single time.
I've never worked in years that times were tough.
No, always tough times. But good for Joey B, getting out of bracket and getting people talking about bracket ball in May,
And AQ playing ref, winner gets the winner of Creighton Wofford.
Honestly,
I'm going to take ref. I'm going to take hashtag ref
like
exclamation
point. Go ahead, put some money on it. I think Vegas would love those bets.
Arkansas, 5 seed.
All right, I like that.
In the same bracket with the Tigers.
Okay. Get ready. How about that?
Yeah.
It'd take a lot for them to meet up, but 2 wins, I guess, for both teams.
Tennessee, a 4.
I'm actually kind of mad at Joey B. I got a bone to pick with
I'm
Joe
going to
Lunardi.
say he's at fault because, Bryant, you don't get mad at people
No,
very often.
I don't, but I have a real bone to pick with him.
You reserve any
I do.
enmity for when it matters, so I'm going to say you're right.
You're absolutely
Just
right.
blanket. I'm going to side with you.
Thank you, Brett. Here's the thing, Brett. Very rarely do we do our college football playoff predictions.
Right.
And this
Second
is
one
one
of
of
the
those
year.
days. Second one of the year, Brett. And, of course, Joey B has to try to come and one-up
What
us
does he
with a
think he is?
bracketology. I mean, we're doing our brackets later for college football, Joey B.
Do you think hashtag capital REF exclamation point has a football team? Should we have them in our bracket today?
Good question. You know what? I think they're an FCS school in football. I think they're
You do?
FCS
You do?
football, D1 in
Kinda
basketball.
like Grand Canyon?
Exactly.
I got you. Okay, good.
I don't know if Grand Canyon plays football, but
do they not?
I don't think so. But they do have a good basketball
Arkansas
team.
State enjoy brackets.
How about
too.
that? I would love that. We talked so much about Arkansas
Mm-hmm.
State last year. I think they've had a really good offseason. And so that'd be really fun to see them going up against a revamped Purdue team if this bracket holds. So that'd be fun.
Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
I couldn't find it. I saw it earlier. Now
Yeah.
I can't find it.
Arkansas State a 13, in the same region, the Midwest region with Memphis and Arkansas. They've got
I think
Purdue
you're
versus
onto
Arkansas
something.
State.
I think brackets trying to steal a little our college football playoff thunder.
you know.
I mean, it's closer to football season than it is
hey,
to.
there's some people, but you know.
We're just 2 months removed from.
Oh, man.
We're not even 2 months removed from the NCAA tournament being over.
That's right. Yeah, it feels like yesterday. Actually, it feels like a long time ago. I'm not gonna lie, but
It does.
it feels like forever. When you say not even 2 months, that's shocking.
It's my theory about it. It's so good. It gets on top of us. It grabs us.
Yes.
Certainly not for the team that wins it or even teams that go to the Final Four. I don't think its staying power shelf life lasts long
Well, that's
in the consciousness. Because then we Masters, NBA playoff.
Well, it's downhill from there.
Rest of the sport, and it's not the football monster
Right.
and college basketball. Certainly not here, but in a lot of the country, it is niche.
Oh, absolutely, and like you said, not here, but there are a ton of other places in the country that, I mean, college football. You flip on the radio there, and college basketball might get 2 minutes during the season, if that. So
I would say
different.
today. What do you think they're talking in Omaha? I bet Omaha has some college basketball run today.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, sure.
Kansas City? Any?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit probably. Yeah, with
And it's not getting run today in Memphis.
No.
But you think of all the places it's not.
Oh man.
Here's another theory, Brian. Tell me if you agree or disagree.
Okay.
I would love people's input on
Sure.
this. I'm going to make a statement. You tell me true or false.
Okay, all right.
Except for the NFL and college football, everything now is niche sports.
Oh, I say very true. I do, and that's me. I mean, Brett, you know how much I love college basketball. I absolutely adore college basketball. But you're right. You're absolutely right. Other than college football and the NFL, I think you're right. I mean, you were talking about examples of places that don't give college basketball or really many other sports any time. And I use the example all the time. I listen to Seattle sports radio every now and then, and I will tune in during college basketball season. And you're lucky if they even spend a minute on college basketball. They're talking NFL up there. They're talking Seahawks. They're talking college football. Even when it's not in season, they're talking about what's coming next year. They're talking a little baseball. I'm with you. NFL and college football, pretty much run the sports world, and everything else kind of falls in line behind that and makes them niche sports, I think.
St. Louis pretty alone in baseball driving
Sure.
Friday, May 31st, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think's driving Dallas today?
Oh, today. I think today. I think the Mavs are driving it
I do too.
today.
I
But
do too.
I think that changes, Monday.
What would be the order? Mavs, Cowboys, Stars,
Yeah.
or Mavs, Stars, Cowboys?
I would say, and obviously I'm not familiar with, how much Dallas cares about the Stars. I would say it's probably, even though the Stars are playing really well right now and have a game tonight, I believe, I would say it's probably Mavs, Cowboys, Stars.
Their crowds are big.
That's
usually a good indicator of
sure.
how interested people are.
Sure.
And that's one of the oddities here. Tiger basketball crowds are poor, but we know people are interested.
Sure. Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's a really good point. But I don't know.
That's weird, isn't it?
It's weird. And I don't know. Maybe I need to go down to Dallas. Maybe I need to tune in to Dallas radio. But it just feels to me, we always talk about how, Brett, you mentioned it before we started the show, of how this weekend we're going to have golf in Canada and we're going to have hockey in Florida and really Dallas. Is. That's crazy.
We got golf and baseball in Toronto this weekend. And hockey in Dallas and in Miami,
and so,
that there's never been a frozen pond in either place.
No, and so as popular as those games might be in Dallas, I still think with OTAs and stuff like that going on, I think the Cowboys are right there in front of the Stars.
How many sustained days of cold weather for it to take for your pond to freeze where you could play hockey?
It's a great question. For me to get out there, I would say probably like 3 or 4 days.
Oh, at least.
I'm not going out there on it. Maybe
I'm not
it's
getting out there
ice.
on any shaky ice.
No, I always love that
no
video.
No shaky ice for me.
Where people get out there and kind of sneak out there, maybe have a stick in front of them, and they're like tapping the ice. No. I got to know it's frozen if I'm going to get out there.
Dallas has never had a frozen pond.
No, nowhere. Not
now, they've had extremely cold weather, but I don't think sustained long enough for you to break out hockey on it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But I'm like you said, you watch those Stars games, and they're great. No. Hey, maybe you always have those kind of anomaly days in weather. Maybe they get a frozen pond, but
usually around the Liberty Bowl.
Sure, absolutely. I would love that if we got a frozen pond here one day on one of those anomaly days. But no, you're right. Dallas has been awesome. Those crowds for those Stars games have been a lot of fun, but I'm still holding out hope for Edmonton to maybe do something special and get to those to the Stanley Cup Finals. That's pretty much your hockey talk for the day, everybody. But let me set up today's show before we get into top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Alan Bell from the AB3 and Driving the Line. He'll join us to talk some wagering. Plenty to get to with Alan. Maybe some early thoughts on the NBA Finals, but he's been all over college baseball, and so now his time to shine with the College World Series. We'll get his thoughts on the regional games, also Major League Baseball. 3:45, we'll talk some baseball. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall will join us from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. We'll talk some more wagering with Bruce. 4:30, I mentioned it a second ago. We did it a while ago. Our way too early college football playoffs. Now just maybe our too early college football playoffs on May 31st. We'll get to that. We'll talk about where we have them, how we have it playing out. We'll do that at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Trey Schapp from 103.7 The Buzz in Little Rock. He'll join us. We'll talk about the SEC meetings down in Destin. Some interesting comments coming out of Destin and the SEC, what could happen this year, what they're going to be discussing, some interesting things. We'll also talk Razorbacks with Trey, with him being in Little Rock. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. We're sitting in our family leisure studios where family and fun come together. Summer, it's here, and it's time to party. 24-foot above-ground pools for $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and robotic cleaners, 20% off. Select in-stock patio furniture, up to 50% off. Play gyms up to $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, 20% off. 4-person hot tubs, only $29.99.99. Discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while supplies last. So get over to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Brian. I'm Brett, and Lee Aldwin Seabury with us as well. We're Sports Time. We're with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Hit us up, true or false. Everything except for NFL and college football now feels niche. That's not a shot. It's kind of time and place of the year, but that's what niche means. This hour of our show brought to you by our sponsor of this hour. It's been with us through all these years. That's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at LexusOfMemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be the Dallas Mavericks. I really thought this team had a good shot to win the Western Conference Finals, but I wasn't extremely confident about it going in. I thought it was kind of a toss-up. I liked both teams going into it, but man, what Dallas was able to do to go up 3-0, Minnesota gets one. How about that? On the road, good for them. But what we saw last night, Dallas coming out early and saying, we mean business. This is all you're going to get. And that game was over extremely early. Luka came out and looked unbelievable. The rest of those guys really added in on it and played extremely well. So much fun to watch and just pure domination. I think, there were probably a lot of people that turned that game off in the third quarter at halftime. This one's over. I saw the sports books went ahead. This was, I don't know how early it was, but I saw it in the third quarter, Brett. Third quarter, we still have a whole nother quarter to play. They already had odds up for game one between Dallas and Boston for
they
game one of the
Electoral College in Vegas.
I mean, yeah, it was over. So it was a lot of fun. Now Dallas gets to the NBA Finals, and of course, a ton of storylines. Sure. Vegas. You're absolutely right. But now we get Mavericks and Celtics. It's going to be really interesting. A lot of storylines. Kyrie going up against his former team. Kristaps Porzingis going up against his old team if he can get back healthy and play in this series. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But now the waiting game begins because we won't get game one until next week.
I don't mind the waiting game.
Okay.
I don't mind it.
I
think it'll be a good run-up for two big markets, and the Celtics will draw in a lot of viewers, and Dallas and the whole Kyrie dynamic,
sure,
I think, will draw in. I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun, and we got a little less than a week to wait on it. That's my top story. Top story as well. 36 for Luka, 36 for Kyrie, and a beatdown of Dallas over Minnesota. Dirty mouth for sure for the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards. Man, you put a mic in front of him, I think he thinks it means cuss more, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. You're right.
No, Anthony, a microphone does not mean cuss more.
I see. Well, for him it does.
It's unbelievable.
It's incredible. I mean, but
it's almost the opposite of me with a microphone.
That's right.
In it, Brian.
Yes, no, that is right. But no, he comes up with some good quotes. I mean, he's always a very quotable guy.
Man, wash his mouth out with soap, isn't it? It's rough. I know. I'm with you, Anthony. I'm not knocking it, but when that mic's in front of you, you got to watch it a little bit. I hope next spring, somewhere in the playoffs, the Grizzlies run into Minnesota. I really do.
Yeah.
I want to run into Minnesota, just like 2 years ago, and they kind of think right now they're the team. Here's what you don't want. If Kendrick Perkins falls in love with you as the young team to beat, look out. 2 years ago, it was the Grizzlies, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
He was saying, watch out for those young brothers in Memphis. Look out for Memphis.
That's right.
He was saying it this year, look out for Minnesota. If he says look out for you, go against it.
I'm with you on that.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, we've got college baseball all day long as regional action has started. And for the SEC, a lot of these teams playing tight early. LSU needed a walk-off to beat Wofford. Vanderbilt loses big to Coastal Carolina, 10 runs, 13-3, that final score. Some other teams, Kentucky got up big, but then it kind of got a little scary for them late in that one. And now you look around and still some close games. Georgia only up by 1 on Auburn. South Carolina losing to James Madison. Arkansas up 4 on SEMO. They seem like they're taking care of business. Texas A&M all over Grambling. Florida up 2 runs on Nebraska. So I still like the SEC in the NCAA tournament, but it definitely playing kind of tight in these first games. We'll see if they get loosened up as the weekend goes on.
Arkansas was up 8-0, now
Yeah.
8-4. They should cruise over SEMO. My not top story, I think the Tennessee coach, Josh Heupel, said it best about this week's SEC meetings in Destin. His quote was, "We had a lot of questions when we got here, and we have even more leaving."
Yeah.
I can't wait to visit with Trey Shapp. He was on the scene all week. What got accomplished?
It doesn't seem like anything, Brett.
A lot of good golf. They were playing against Trey. They were losing. I guarantee you, if you needed him on your team. A lot of people ask me why I don't go to this event, and this week really showed why I don't.
Yeah.
First of all, I get enough of the PR machine, and we're a little closer to football, and I love it at media days, so I don't really need two full weeks of that. And this week, not a lot got done.
No. It's like beautiful shots on Feinbaum. I mean, the beach looks
Great
beautiful
programming
behind
for
him.
Paul.
Sure.
And I understand that.
Getting those coaches
I'm not knocking
on.
programming.
Yeah, no, it's great. But you're right. In terms of news and getting things done.
Be interesting.
Yeah, and it just hasn't been. It's been, Brett, what it's been a whole lot of, hey, this is what we might talk about this week. And then nothing comes about it. Then it seems like they don't talk about any of it. So,
they really did. And the TV scheduling news, Chuck Dunlap could have typed that up and sent that out last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that could have happened. We didn't need to be in Destin for that.
Just talking about Destin, I get a little sunburn.
Well, yes, and I get a little more miserable because I wish I was in Destin. But you're right. Doesn't seem
you like the beach?
Much. I love the beach.
Do you?
Yeah,
I never was a big beach cold.
No, I like the beach a lot.
It didn't like me because of the sun.
Well, I guess that's
one time
fair.
my feet got so badly sunburned.
Been there, Brett. Oh, man.
Have you?
Oh, yeah. I thought I was gonna throw up. It was awful.
Oh, feet badly sunburned.
I was actually that trip. I had gone to Destin with one of my best friends and his family, and I was in such a bad mood at night. Nobody knew I had sunburned the tops of my feet. I didn't tell anybody, and I was in such a bad mood that night. I wasn't talking to anybody because I was just in so much pain. His father threatened.
I brought up a bad subject.
His father threatened to send me home. He was like, "I will buy a plane ticket right now.
Really?
And I will send you back to Memphis if you don't get out of this mood." And I was like,
"Really? Wow, man, who's this old?"
Well, he's like a second dad to me, so he's allowed to say that to me.
He has artistic
he has
freedom. Okay.
He's one of few that has.
Another thing about the beach for me, the water, the ocean.
Yeah,
at the beach.
Okay, you don't like the salt water?
No, I don't like what's in it. That's their territory.
Yeah, hey, that's why I only go so far out.
It's Mr. Shark's ocean.
Yeah, I only go so far out. I'm not a huge fan of the ocean, but I'll go about knee high, and then that's about it for me. Maybe waist, but nothing more than that. I'm staying away from that.
Other than maybe plane crash, I can't think of a worse way to go than shark attack.
Yeah, that doesn't seem fun. Does not seem fun at all.
And also along those lines, I don't ever want the headline to be Brett survives shark attack.
What's worse, I guess. Both seem really bad.
That would be really bad.
Yes, that would. But we'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break, and when we come back, we're talking wagering with Alan Bell.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli, it's wholesome food and no surprises.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the bike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We got Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Incentives price excludes 695 PF. Lease includes PF 695, 650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP 50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP 21820. Plus finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax island license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch and Carterville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshots 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Carterville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
As the seasons change, so does the need for reliable home comfort. It's time to turn to the experts with Choates, where your family's comfort is our top priority. Right now, Choates is making it easier than ever to upgrade your home's climate control with our exceptional Carrier systems. There's never been a better time to enhance your comfort. Select from incredibly low monthly payments, 36 months no interest financing, or choose our $1,650 Cool Cash rebate instead and lower the upfront cost on select Carrier systems. It's not just savings, it's Cool Cash in your pocket. Low monthly payments, no interest financing, or Cool Cash rebates? Whatever you choose, you're choosing quality, reliability, and the trusted service of Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to learn more about these incredible savings. But hurry, these deals are as fleeting as a cool breeze on a hot day. Choates, let our family serve your family.
Todd is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Todd, and I live in Georgia. I'm a veteran of 23 years. I love to give back to the community, whether it's my fellow veterans, some guy on the street corner. I offer when I can, when I can. I started noticing that my memory was slipping, and I wanted to take proactive measures to try to help that. I saw a Prevagen commercial, and I did some research on it, and I wanted to find out if this stuff really worked. I started taking Prevagen about 3 years ago. Since taking Prevagen, I feel clearer in my thoughts, my memory has improved, and generally just more on point.
Prevagen is available in stores everywhere without a prescription. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Hey, it's South, I've got Marty McMahon getting back to the past on these prices at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
This is heavy, Doc. I mean, Randy, let's go with 42 MPG Highway and a 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for $249 a month. Or take your pick from a 2024 Tiguan S or 2024 Taos SE for only $279.28 a month.
Great Scott, McNate! You got it going on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown on Winchester Road. Let me hit those deals again. 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE, $249 a month, or take your pick. 2024 Tiguan S or Taos SE, $279.28 a month.
Your future's whatever you make of it, Randy, so let us help you make your future down here at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettBWG.com.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stacks Norsworthy and Brian Gates.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, Alan Bell from the AB3 and Driving the Line. He joins us now to talk some wagering. Alan, I know it's like a early Christmas for you today with the college baseball playoffs going on right now, regionals going on. What have you? What's kind of stood out to you this morning? I was talking to Brett earlier. Seems like a lot of these SEC teams kind of playing a little tight in their first games. What have you seen?
They are, man. First off, appreciate you guys having me back. And second, yeah, you're right. I mean, you know, we're seeing there's so much parity around college baseball. There's a lot of good teams that are 3 seeds and 4 seeds in this tournament. LSU, quite frankly, was lucky to beat Wofford.
Sure was.
Today,
Exactly.
right? You know, and look, I'm not taking anything away from them, but yeah, like, and you're going to continue to see it, man. Like, these teams, if you don't show up and hit, you're going to be in trouble. Like, pitching is very important. We talk about it all the time. But you're not putting up runs, I don't care how good your pitching is. You're going to have to put up runs, and you better be ready to go.
And even in a game that has a lot of runs, look at what Georgia's doing against Army. It's a Basher's Bowl there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is, man. You look up, you're like 8-8. You're like, look, the Army baseball team's outscoring the football team.
I don't know that Army football could get 8 on Georgia.
Man, probably
I
not.
don't think so either. That's a good point. That's a good one right there.
Here's one thing I saw today, and Alan, I like college baseball, and baseball, Major League Baseball is my very, very, very favorite of anything. But I don't follow even the SEC like a lot of people do, and some of my friends get really mad at me about it. But this is the time of year I get locked in. I didn't know until today. I was today years old when I realized this, and I'm going to call them out for it. If you're in the SEC, and I think Vanderbilt has this and Mizzou may, but I discovered it about Kentucky today. If you're in the SEC where they are printing money, you're looking for ways to spend money, and you have a field that you have brown AstroTurf for your batters area and for your fielders area, and you're in the SEC where budgets mean nothing, and you have all the money you can think of. Every one of those places in the SEC could have the finest underground system, drainage system, sub-air, and look, we can find somebody to rake the field and chalk it. If you've got AstroTurf infield, you're Bush League, and that's what Kentucky is with their field.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess Calipari took all that money and ran.
Yeah, I guess he did. He got out
He
of
didn't like to share,
and the ice
I
machine
tell you.
here at
That's
Memphis.
right,
He took out with the ice machine.
I'm telling you, right? No, I'm with you. You know, and especially, I mean, you know, we talk about sports like baseball, softball, whatever. That, you know, a lot of programs they're lucky and happy if they break even. And not in the SEC. They actually make money on these. You know, I'm 100% with you, man. Like, you're going to have to step that up. Yeah.
And it drives me crazy when Vandy wants to go a little bit miserly on, you know, we really don't do that. hey, Vandy, come off some of that endowment. Let's chalk the field and rake it.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. You want to talk about a school that has money. Look, when you're in the SEC and also private, right? And you've got all that medical. Look, Vanderbilt Medical, every single time in this city in Nashville, I swear to you, if a parking lot of 6 spaces opens up, Vanderbilt Medical buys it in a day. If it's 6,000 spaces, Vanderbilt Medical buys it. Like, they've got more money than the state does, man. Like,
we can afford chalk, can't we? We can line the field, can't we?
Look, they had donors going over just paying cash for that new soccer stadium. They're like, yeah, just pay us back later. Don't worry about it.
That's great.
I bet you the Vandy Whistler's sitting on a big pile of money.
Gotta be.
Oh, man, that guy, dude. When ESPN first found out who he was,
oh, man.
Oh, my God, like, fans everywhere were calling ESPN saying, if you don't tell that guy to shut up. It was hilarious.
He's been to opposing places that people have gotten in his face and said, not here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They stopped that immediately. And look, I get it. Like, it's your thing, but it is annoying. Like, you get tired of it. You're like, you want to do that at your house, that's fine. You ain't doing it here, Hoff.
Right.
You know, I found through the years, and I couldn't whistle if my life depended on it.
Yeah.
But I found through the years, people that can, they try to break your eardrum at a game with it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Yeah, and like it's so odd too. Like, you know, what is the point? Like, what, you know, is it like a substitute clap? Like, I'm with you. Like, it's
Well,
so
he
strange.
he can do it very rhythmically. He really can.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
Oh God! Look, that guy must have the lungs of our Lord, because he does it for 9 innings straight. Like, it's remarkable how he does it. I have no idea, man.
Alan Bell with us on our Cincy's Log Cabin guest line, and we were texting last night. Alan, around Major League Baseball, runs are really hard to come by. Even with the move away from the shift, batting averages are still at all-time lows. We could see somebody win a batting title with a really paltry batting average, and the reason's simple. We were talking about it last night. These pitchers, first of all, they're as big as football players, big as basketball players, and they're coming in, pumping gas, coming off that mound, elbows and arm angles, and impossible to touch.
You're right. You know, we were texting about it, and you nailed it. Like, you said that immediately. You know, and you're exactly right. And I was glad that you said it, because I got to thinking about it, and it's not only that they're so good, it's the depth is crazy deep too. Like, there's just so many of them. And it's one of those things to where it's going to take a generation of kids coming up hitting against it to really, like, you know, even this thing out. Like,
I don't know that you can.
I know.
It's already the hardest thing in sports to do is hit a round ball with a round bat.
It is, right? And it's like, okay, like, how, like, and then I started thinking what you just said. I started thinking, like, okay, how further can this go? Like, you know, guys aren't going to be throwing 115 miles an hour, but then again, I didn't think guys would be throwing 105 miles an hour. You know what I mean?
Who knew
like,
Frank DeFord was ahead of his time with the April Fool's joke in Sports Illustrated about Sid Finch?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You're exactly right, man. Like, it's wild, and the fact that, you know, these guys are doing it, and the weird thing and good that we're seeing less pitcher injuries as well. You know, 10 years ago, it felt like everyone was getting Tommy John surgery over and over and over. And now it's like the bodies have, like, adapted, man. Like, it's crazy. Like, I feel bad for hitters, because it's like, you know, you watch a Major League Baseball game, the first 6 innings, like, it's the Sahara Desert. Like, it is a mad rush from the 7th inning on. Like, you have to get to the bullpen. Like, that is the key. So now we're seeing teams that are just working counts. They strike out, whatever. Just work the count. Who can get to the bullpen the quickest? It's wild, man. You're right. Depth is crazy.
Did I say Sid Finch when I mentioned Frank DeFord?
Yeah, you did.
I did. Okay, that's right. I was afraid. This is how your mind gets, Brian. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I was afraid I'd said Cliff Finch and confused people with the former governor of Mississippi. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Take County boy, no less. Cliff Finch.
There you go.
I was gonna say. Yeah, we talking about Sid, not that old boy.
Okay, very good. Thank you,
Alan. What do you like this weekend in Major League Baseball?
Man, I'll tell you. So the difficult part is finding teams that are consistent in putting up runs, what we just talked about, right? The Washington Nationals are putting up runs. As crazy as it sounds.
Yes, they are.
They're hitting, right? This team is hitting. The Oakland A's are hitting. You know, so I'm looking at that. The Phillies have a really nice opportunity, and so do the Dodgers tonight. Like, I put together a parlay of, like, the Dodgers and the Phillies both to score 4 runs or more. They've got really nice matchups against pitchers that are struggling. But, yeah, like, you got to pick your spots, man. Like, Phillies, Dodgers, A's, Nationals. Those teams right now, they're putting up runs for you. It's tough to find elsewhere.
And Alan, for college football, when will you start really locking in on season over and unders? A lot are being posted in Vegas. A lot of numbers out there.
Starting to work on it now. And, you know, I'll tell you, I'm glad that you asked that question, because just yesterday I was looking at it and I was talking with some friends that because that story came out about USC trying to get out of the LSU game, the opening
Tried
game.
hard.
Yeah, and I didn't think about it until I looked at USC's schedule this year, that now that they're in the Big Ten, they play at Michigan, at Wisconsin, they play Notre Dame, they play Washington, they play Maryland, they play all of these teams. Like, I get now why they're trying to get out of it. Their schedule is insane. So you got to take a look at these conferences where they've had changes coming. Texas, Oklahoma coming to the SEC. Take a look at Florida's schedule. Like, I don't think Florida's going to be that great, but they have arguably the most difficult schedule I have ever seen. It is
just November is brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal, right? So it's like, yeah, like starting to dig in now, but we'll get heavy into it, probably July. But yeah, like taking note now of where these spots are, and like you said, certain months. Yeah, it's important work to do.
I can't really blame Lincoln Riley for this. I don't know that he would have taken that job if he had known they were going to land in the Big Ten, because he was trying to dodge OU heading off to the SEC. So he got out of town and got to Westwood to coach USC. Or Los Angeles, rather, not Westwood. UCLA's in Westwood, but he got to Los Angeles to coach at the Trojans. I don't blame him for wanting to dodge LSU. Here's another one, and I don't think it's all him and all USC. Next year and in 25 and 26 is home and home between Ole Miss and USC. Next year, Ole Miss is supposed to go out to the Coliseum. I think both parties, and it hadn't been any announcement on it, but I think both parties are kind of trying to want to get out of that.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see Lane Kiffin not wanting to really be a part of that either. And not that, he's certainly not afraid. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what it is at all. But it's like, these conference schedules are so difficult now that playing these big-time, 2 premier team games to open the season, why? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, your schedule's tough enough that that'll do the work for you. You don't have to go do it. Now, as a fan of just, like, getting to watch, like, Ole Miss USC, that'd be awesome. But, like you said, man, like, on both sides, Lincoln or if it were Lane, like, I totally get it. There's just not a point to having to do that anymore because the risk is so much worse than the reward.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Well, Alan, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next Friday.
Man, look forward to it, boys. Y'all have a great weekend. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Alan. Alan Bell joining us from the AB3 and Driving the Line. Go check out Driving the Line. Daily shows every single day, giving you picks, information, all of that. And as always, we love having Alan on a Friday. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk some baseball.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get ready because the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event is on, and now is the best time to buy. You want 43 MPG Highway? We Gossett in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $18,960 or $279 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, we Gossett, $27,350 or $399 per month. And your summer adventure starts with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE. We Gossett, $29,865 or $449 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi. 1870 Covington Pike. Online 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
HFO 9083, MSRP 19460, Sport RU 0110 764, MSRP 28070, Outlander RZO 53896, MSRP 30895, PF 695, acquisition fee 595, 15 cents excess mileage, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved dealer stock only.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park, we got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls cows on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Booting Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toe boots. Lots of the cowboy hats to choose from, even Nevo lights, good-looking duck-head dress shirts, duck-head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Times Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of old-style T-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Booting Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning Repair Team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
I've got Jason, the main man marshal, here, and he's ready to start something big at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. What's up, Jason?
Randy, I've got 42 MPG on the highway on the all-new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for only $249 a month. Or take your pick from the 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or 2024 Taos SE. We got it at $279.28 a month.
That's a 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE, $249 a month. Or take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S or 2024 Taos SE, $279.28 a month.
And Randy, you know the deal. Make me an offer because no reasonable offer will be refused.
Ask for Jason, the main man marshal at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike. Online, GossettVWMemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats, Norsworthy, and Brian Davis.
Well, weekend series starting for a ton of teams in Major League Baseball. One of those teams being our St. Louis Cardinals, who had the off day yesterday. And I saw it, interestingly enough, I saw some people on Twitter talking about it, Brett. Mason Wynn not in the lineup tonight. Brandon Crawford going to play shortstop. So
58-year-old Brandon Crawford?
That's right. Who's batting, what, 098 right now? He's at the start. No
What's
Mason
wrong with
Wynn
Mason
tonight.
Wynn?
I believe it's just a rest day for Mason Wynn. I don't think anything.
Did he not rest yesterday?
You know what? That's a good point, Brett. Because they were
How old is he?
21, 22, something like that.
Is he that tired?
It's a good question, Brett. You wouldn't think so. You would hope.
Do we
not.
need to send him to Mayo Clinic for testing?
I hope not. I hope it's just just a day off, Brett. You can get revamped, get ready for Saturday.
You're in the big leagues.
Well,
You got to be kidding me.
Well,
so we're into maintenance days now in baseball.
Brett, I'm actually glad you brought that up because I read a story. I didn't get to read all of it. I think it was either on ESPN or The Athletic talking about load management is making its way to baseball, and it's going to become the new thing in Major League Baseball. Brett, is that we're going to start having maintenance days, load management for these guys, give them a couple days off, back into the lineup.
Why? You got the
You've been 100%. I don't know. Why are we doing load management in basketball? I guess same thing.
That's the biggest series of the year against a real team, the best team in baseball, and your future at shortstop needs a day off.
Yeah.
Well, he better be real good on Saturday and Sunday then.
Well, I hope so. He's been swinging a hot bat, Brett.
Whiz, I can't believe this.
We're getting real close, Brett.
And Brandon Crawford, who made every play you could make when he was a Giant, when they'd played the Cardinals. He can't make the routine stuff.
It hadn't been a great start to the year for Brandon Crawford.
He had one right through the wickets when I was there
Brett,
2 weeks ago.
It's kind of been MIA for Brandon Crawford. I mean, you forget he's on the team. Never see him.
I really had. Then he goes in, and I mean immediately right through it.
You know exactly where he's at.
And I thought you got to every attempt you can think of, and it was great. There were years that he got forgotten how great he was.
Oh, absolutely.
All the way in every facet of the game.
Yo, yeah, 100%.
Great play. It is big over for him.
I told you, Brett, when they signed him, we talked about it, and I said, I don't really like the signing. And
I said I would have loved that signing in 2012.
Yes, I mean, completely different back then than it is in 2024. Different players.
Well, mark it down. May 31st is the day I lost my mind.
I think you lost your mind there.
It's over.
I think that I've given you a lot of. It's been a long leash,
Mason
Brett.
Wynn's tired.
Needs an off day, Brett. Needs a break. You're only 22 once. Let's get to a break and wrap up this hour. When we come back, we're talking more wagering with Bruce Marshall.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better. I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe. I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. You'll find the lowest rates on Tuesday through Thursday afternoons. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Certain areas are seeing some rain showers out here. Give yourself a little bit of extra travel time. Be careful as that traffic cranks up even more with volume on 240 East trying to get past Poplar. It's also building pretty good down into South Haven, but it's moving on 55 going southbound all the way down through DeSoto County. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders, CBS Sports, and his own website, BamSports.net. With over 30 years on Memphis radio, with Hayden Kevin and Sports Talk, here's Bruce Marshall with Brian and Brett.
Bruce Marshall joins us now from Vegas Insiders, CBS Sports, and BamSports.net. He joins us like all our guests do on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. I wanted to start off, we always talk about West Coast teams and sports with you when we have you on, and we got the news last weekend that Bill Walton had unfortunately passed away, a guy that was so dominant. A lot of people here in Memphis remember him from that national championship game when he was with UCLA against Memphis and obviously with Portland to start his career. What did you make of that news over the weekend?
Well, it was sad. It we knew something might be wrong, Bryant, with Walton when we didn't see him late in the season on those Pac-12 games, though nobody seemed to say much. And but it was still kind of shocking because we really hadn't, heard any update on that. And so when it hit a lot of people hard. I mean, he's only 71, but he leaves quite a mark. I don't think. In more recent years, people knew him for his TV work, and I don't think we're going to ever see or hear another TV analyst quite like Walton. The way, the different tangents he'd go off on and other things. I mean, nobody would ever be as comfortable saying the things that Walton said like he did. he's very unique in that regard. But obviously, as a player, that's where he first came to prominence. And actually, he had a brother at UCLA who was a year ahead of him. Offensive tackle on the football team, Bruce Walton, pretty big guy too. He played for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah, was in the Super Bowl against the Steelers too. So, so it's from an athletic family. But when he broke in at UCLA, that the first varsity team, and that was the last year freshmen were not eligible. So there's a 71-72 team. The year before, when he was a freshman, he played freshman ball, which all the freshmen did, believe it or not, up until 72. But his first varsity team, that team played with more joy de vivre, as I say, than I've ever seen a team play with. It was just, Walton was so infectious, and Henry Bibby was sort of liberated that year because he had been forced, playing with some restraints the previous 2 years with the Wicks Row teams that were more of a real grinding, much different sorts of UCLA title teams. But with Walton dominating inside, the way he could pass the ball, he could initiate the fast break on the rebounds and get the ball out of his hands down court so quick. Keith Wilkes came in with him. Greg Lee came in with him. Tommy Curtis didn't actually come in that year, but he was the same year. He had redshirted a year. Larry Farmer had been there. It was, and Bibby. It was, that team had played with so much joy, and they just rolled all the way through the season. The final score of the championship game was the closest score of the year. That game was not as close as the final score. UCLA was in control against Florida State. But that was the most fun team I ever watched in my life. It's just a joy to watch them. They were not quite as joyful the last 2 years. In fact, I maintain, they blew a couple of games Walton's senior year against Notre Dame and NC State. Notre Dame, of course, was the one that broke that 88-game win streak. And NC State, they blew a 7-point lead in the second overtime in Greensboro in the Final Four, where the team flat-out panicked. And I just don't know that the Walton teams ever had that much experience in really close games. They pulled one out against Dayton in the Sweet 16 Walton senior year, triple overtime, I think. And then they had some great games that year, too. They had whipped North Carolina State, the eventual champion, in a regular season game at St. Louis. So they could play. It could hit some really high notes, but they didn't play too many close games, and I think that ended up sort of costing them. They panicked. And that was something you didn't see the Wicks Row teams do. They won so many close games. So I've always maintained, the Walton teams are probably better, maybe, but in a close game, I'd much rather have the Wicks Row teams the 2 years before. One last note, when Walton was a freshman, and he was playing on the freshman team, and UCLA, of course, would roll that year with their freshman team, they reinstituted the varsity freshman game for 1 year. Now, that used to be a staple at UCLA until Lou Alcindor was a freshman, and they beat the defending champions, who had some graduation losses, but kind of an embarrassment for the varsity in December of 65. So they stopped it at that point. They revived it for 1 year because the Walton freshman class was so highly touted. But the Wicks Row team, their senior year, had none of it. They ended up winning kind of handily. That was the only game Walton lost for more than 3 years then at UCLA until that Notre Dame game. So it was quite a legacy he left, and we won't see another one like him.
We sure won't, Bruce, and quite colorful, but on the floor just so fundamentally sound. I said the other day that he may have been the number one overall pick 4 straight years, even playing in kind of seclusion on that freshman team. If he had made himself available and the NBA would have done it, would he have been number one that year?
He might have been. I'm trying to think who was the number one pick in 71. The next year, LaRue Martin was the number one pick out of Loyola Chicago.
Portland.
Yeah, mostly because he actually played Walton pretty well in a game that Loyola played against UCLA during that season. So when he came out the year before, I want to say Dr. J, but he went to the ABA that year, and I'll have to think back who was actually the top pick. But he may well have been, and there was the big mystery of the coin flip with Philadelphia and Portland to see who would get the number one pick in the NBA. There was also still the ABA around then, and San Diego had a team, and they made a belated effort to bring him in, but they never, financially, they just were in such weak underpinnings at that point, they couldn't do it. But Portland won the coin flip against the Sixers, and that's how we ended up with the Blazers.
Yeah, and San Diego had even blown it with Pistol Pete a few years before it that was well documented in the definitive book about Pistol Pete. He and his dad, Press, they go out. They're pretty set to sign with San Diego, the conquistadors of the ABA, wanted to go home and think over the offer, and were walking to their taxi cab, and the hotel clerk came chasing them down, go, hey, y'all got to settle your tab at the front desk at the hotel. They said, what are you talking about? The conquistadors are paying. They said, no, they're not. Y'all are. They said, we're not signing with this bunch. We got to get out of town. So they were running, the idea of having Pistol Pete and Bill Walton, I think you'd have been pretty good. In 71, the number one overall pick, Bruce, I'm at it now, was Austin Carr. You're right about LaRue Martin.
Okay, sure.
LaRue Martin to Portland the next year, then Doug Collins, then Bill Walton. Yep. So I think he would have been 4 straight, number one.
Yeah, I think so. I think he would have been. Carr was there. It's funny because in those years, Brett, the hardship cases and some guys would leave during the course of the season.
It was weird. Mm-hmm.
It was weird, and had Jim Chones declared for 71 draft, he might have got picked by Cleveland ahead of Carr, perhaps. And then the Jones left the middle of the next year with Marquette.
And Johnny Newman left before the year was over at Ole Miss.
Johnny Newman
for the ABA.
Yeah, and then so that was sort of an odd time, and that stuff would happen then. But I think he may well could have been. He was not a secret. I remember a lot of people on the West Coast. If you remember, Sports Illustrated would usually do a high school athlete on the cover every year. And that year, out of high school, the senior was Tom McMillan, who ended up signing with Maryland, of course. But I think everybody on the West Coast knew that Walton was a lot better than McMillan, and they were always sort of miffed that it was McMillan who got on the cover. But UCLA couldn't complain because I think they got the better end of that deal.
First time I saw him in Sports Illustrated was that great section, Faces in the Crowd, and read about this player at Helix High School in San Diego, famously later to be Reggie Bush's high school as well in San Diego. Bruce Marshall, our guest on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Was there even a close runner-up to UCLA? Did he even entertain any other recruiting offers? Was there a heartbroken runner-up?
No, I think they made. I mean, according to Walton, he and Wilkes were actually on the same recruiting trip up at Stanford, and they decided, like right then and there, they were going to go to UCLA. So I don't know that anybody else was really in it. USC never thought they had much of a chance. Remember, UCLA at that point was winning national titles, and that was the Tiffany destination to go to, especially from the West Coast there. So it was a pretty easy choice there. And, who knows if there were some other things going on with Sam Gilbert and the rest, but, he wasn't the only guy doing that in college hoops in those days. But that was the story, at least Walton used to tell it, that he and Wilkes decided together that they would do UCLA while they were both on a recruiting trip up at Stanford, and they decided on UCLA then.
Wow. Talking to Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. We've got the SEC spring meetings going on right now in Destin, and Brett and I were talking about it earlier. It doesn't seem like they're getting much done down there except for maybe getting their tan on at the beach.
They like to meet.
They sure do. Like to play golf, like to meet, like to get that tan on at the beach. But one thing that they mentioned earlier in the week that they were going to discuss this week was the availability reports that I believe the Big Ten started last year. We were talking to a guest earlier this week, and I asked him, he covers Big Ten football, and I asked him about availability reports. Did he like them? Did he think they were good? And one thing he said was from a gambling perspective that he thinks that they definitely could help a little bit. How much did you look at availability reports last year when it came to Big Ten football, and do you think that's something that other conferences should adopt?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, the NFL's been doing that for years, but so many teams manipulate it so much.
Yeah.
You can't. Belichick would put 30 guys on the injury report every week. And it was hard to tell who was there. So, I think they almost have to because of the legalized gaming in so many states now. I mean, you don't want any of that info not to be public and only be available to some people where it could manipulate the lines and such. So they're afraid of some liability on that if they don't. It's up to the coaches then to see what, who's in or out. But usually we know if an important player is out, and we've known that for a long time. I mean, they'll announce if a guy's out for a year. It's there. It's sort of a protection mechanism that they've got. But I mean, they've always let us know if a guy was seriously hurt and wasn't going to play. So, and those are the ones we always have to watch for.
Bruce, there's always something that the complainers find plenty to complain about. What do you think when they reveal the college football playoff, the first one, the 4 seeds, the 4 byes, the top 4 seeds, conference champions, then 5 through 12? What do you think will be the loudest complaint come December?
Whoever was 13 will complain, and 14 will complain next. It's probably going to break down geographically. We might have touched upon this last week. I mean, if there's 4 or 5 SEC teams in there, and there's only one from the Big 12, say, so the Big 12 will complain. I think that's how it's most likely to come down.
They'd get their champ, and at worst be the fourth seed.
Yeah, and then but if there's only 1 out of 12, I mean, they'll think, hey, wait a minute, what about that? Because the mechanism beyond the conference champions, and I think, at some point, had this been, had the playoff been around before '92, when the SEC first had that championship game in Birmingham with Alabama and Florida, I don't know that the conference championship games would have come about, because right now I think they just exist as a money thing. But I mean, if they might not have been a necessary thing if there was going to be a playoff here. Although maybe I should rethink that, because in a big league like the SEC, the 2 teams in the championship and a 12-team playoff are both going to get in the playoff. But still, I still wonder about the conference title games in football, if it's already pretty well known who's going to be the 12 teams, especially if the teams in the conference title games are all going to be invited to the 12. So I'm not sure how much difference that makes, except with buys and such. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes in the future. But I think it's just natural. I mean, whoever is team 13 or 14 will complain, and if it's from a league they feel is underrepresented, they'll complain. But that's just part of goes with the territory, I think.
Right. So I'm with you. 13 and 14, they'll scream like stuck pigs. But I think after that settles down, the biggest complaint's going to be rematches that first weekend in the 5 versus 12 the campus games.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right about that, Brett. And they might allow for some leeway there. I know, in the NC2A, in the big games.
Should they manipulate it?
Well, that's a good question, and I'm not sure the answer, but they could if they don't want to do the rematch thing. And you remember, in the basketball side, they seed the teams, but they can move them all a line or so if they feel they want to avoid a matchup in the first round, or they don't want teams playing from the same conference, and that never happens in the first round, but to avoid it in the second round too. So you can move them a little bit. So I'm not sure if this formula is going to be so ironclad where it's going to, there might be some room for some subjectivity in there. So the rematch thing, I don't know how it's going to play out, but it could go either way.
Yeah. I know it's early. We got a whole nother week to wait for the NBA Finals, but we did have the Dallas Mavericks win last night to secure those 2 teams in the finals. It's going to be Dallas versus Boston. Kind of early look at it. Where do you sit in this one? Who do you think has the upper hand going into it?
I think Boston, but, Boston's caught a lot of breaks. I know Porzingis has been out since the end of the Miami series, but they have caught such breaks catching Miami without Jimmy B and Rozier. And then they had other injuries by the end of that series. And they caught, they caught the second round. Donovan Mitchell was out the last few games for Cleveland. Jared Allen have been out the whole series. They caught Indiana, which was a tough 4-game series. That was not an easy series. And Halliburton didn't play for the last 2 plus last half really of game 2. So they've caught some breaks. The one thing that jumps out at me here, and this is sort of like the Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, home ice in the Stanley Cup has long been minimized. And again, this year the road teams are winning more. But how about these two in the playoffs? They are combined 13-2 on the road, and that includes 6-0 for Boston and 7-2 for Dallas, with 5 straight road wins for the Mavericks. So these two have both proven they can win on the road. And the first 2 games here, in game 1 we've already seen the numbers, like 6.5 now for Boston. I would be tempted in both of the first 2 games to play Dallas on the money line, where you're getting about a plus 200, plus 210 maybe, and that they can steal one of those. Boston has been vulnerable in game 2s. Those are the games in the first 2 rounds that they lost at home. They've historically had some struggles at home in the playoffs the last few years. They have not necessarily been covering point spreads. They only covered point spreads in one of the games against Indy, and that's when Carlisle kind of put everybody on the bench in the fourth quarter to rest them for game 3, including Halliburton when he got hurt. So I think Dallas, at least in the first game for sure, and probably the second one, I think they're going to at least cover one, maybe both these games. They might steal one. Since a little bit after the deadline, when they added Gafford and Washington, this new starting lineup, they've got 28-6. And now that they did lose, Lively has to be in there too, and he came back in game 5 last night. But they've been awfully good. Boston's going to have some defenders out on the perimeter there, a little more lengthy. They got more of them. You've got Tatum, you got Brown, you got Derek White, and you got Drew Holiday. So defensively, they're going to give Luka and Kyrie a little bit more of an argument. But I don't think Dallas is just a 2-man team now. They need those 2 to go well, but they have upgraded with some of these other guys. And Lively's progression and adding Washington and Gafford at the deadline. Deadline moves can be important. And for the last 2 years, Boston has benefited greatly from getting Derek White from the Spurs at the deadline. So when we get up to that point in February each year, keep an eye on that stuff, because you see some moves that end up paying off. And in Dallas's case, I don't think they'd be here in the finals without adding those guys at the deadline.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. It's going to be, I'm excited. It's going to be kind of a wait with the week off, but I am excited for this finals matchup. Major League Baseball, is there anything you're really looking at this weekend, kind of going into these games Friday night?
Yeah, a lot of under results here in the last week. Not as much yesterday, but a lot of lower scoring games. Some teams ain't scoring runs. The White Sox are definitely having trouble scoring runs again, although they have Fedde pitching for them tonight. He's pitching pretty well. Total of about 8 against the Brewers. I think that might be too high. I might look under there. Oakland has been not scoring many runs. They were 1 out away from another under yesterday at Tampa Bay until Siri hit that homer in the 9th off of Mason Miller to force extra innings. But they play the Braves, who, by the way, have scored 7 runs in 4 games without Acuna. Their offense is really stalled. Yeah, so I could see an under there. Maybe the Giants and the Yankees. Stroman has pitched extremely well lately. And Hicks gives the Giants a good 5 innings or so that could be an under as well. 2 other ones tonight I might look at. One, Toronto is hosting Pittsburgh. Toronto's been a little bit of a disappointment, but they do have a little momentum. They did sweep the White Sox for what that's worth. Berrios is on the mound tonight. Pittsburgh has looked especially overmatched against elite pitchers. Now, everybody has trouble with top-line pitchers, especially Pittsburgh. And we saw this week Sale and Skubal both set them down easily. Now, can Berrios do that tonight? Where do we rate him? At times, he looks that good. I would take my chances with Toronto on the run line. I might also give a look at Texas here. Urena's on the mound. Miami had not been scoring many runs until the other day against San Diego, but their offense had been absolutely abysmal for about a week. And Texas might be stirring a bit here now. 3 straight wins. They had been underachieving for a while. They're not out of that thing in the American League by any means, and I could see them going into Miami, maybe using the run line with them tonight, too.
Bruce, Toronto's got a lot of great pieces. Do you see them being sellers?
It could be. Depends where they're sitting at the deadline there. I mean, if they're getting looks like they're too far out of the race, they're not going to catch the Yankees, and they're not going to catch Baltimore, but they could very well be in the wild card race in the American League. So that would kind of determine it. They could definitely sell. Also, the one guy I mentioned earlier here, a guy like Fedde for the White Sox has been really, really good this year. As bad as the White Sox have been, they could get something for him. He's not costing them too much, but the potential return for a guy like Eric Fetty would be very interesting. So I would think the White Sox might be a seller too.
Bruce, one more thing, because I'm fascinated by it, and I know you have the institutional knowledge of being in that area. And I saw a great picture, and it didn't look like it was that long ago, of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with Bill Walton. Summertime, would they ever work out with each other? Were they friendly? Were they competitive? What was the dynamic like between the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Walton?
Well, no, I think they were very friendly, and I'm not sure how often they got together, but there's a lot of mutual respect for them because of the UCLA connection. They're both very close to Wooden.
Mm-hmm.
Politically, they were very close, and Walton didn't have too many enemies really, and he and Kareem, from what I understood, really got along famously, and so that was a pretty good thing. Like, the only guy I know who didn't get along with Walton for sure was Digger Phelps. Walton liked to tease her, and Digger was so aloof he couldn't figure it out. But no, I think Kareem and Walton were very good friends.
Pretty nice thing to say about someone after they pass is it not too many people couldn't get along with them.
Yeah, that was Walton.
Yeah,
that was it.
Absolutely. Bruce, what do you like in the hockey game tonight? I got to get that out of you. You know I like these hockey picks. What do you like tonight with Edmonton and Dallas? Big game tonight for Edmonton on the road.
Yeah, well, big for Dallas, too.
That's
they got to
true.
win. I still think Dallas is going to win this series, but every time it looks like somebody's ready to take charge of this thing, the other team comes back. They got to get that power play going a bit. They haven't scored in the power play yet. They gave up a shorty the other night. Edmonton's got their penalty kills going like 23 in a row. That's not what they're noted for, but they're playing pretty well. If the Stars can't get a power play goal in the next two games, they're going to lose this series. I think they will, though. There's too much firepower there, and I still like Ottinger over Skinner in goal, so I'm going to lean a little bit to Dallas, but this thing might go 7. We might be playing into next week with these two.
Yeah, Skinner's kind of struggled there for the Oilers in net, but that should be a fun one tonight. Bruce, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Check me out online at VegasInsider.com. All these picks, and we got baseball. I got a pick up there for Game 1 in the NBA. You know what I like already, but it's up there, and NHL as well. VegasInsider.com. You can read my stuff too up at CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com.
Bruce, as always, thanks so much.
you,
Enjoy
Bruce.
your weekend. We'll do it again next Friday.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce. Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net joins us every Friday afternoon to talk a little bit of everything and give us some picks. But let's go ahead and get to a break because I'm so excited. Go ahead, Brett. I'm sorry.
I wanted to tell you about a fascinating story. He talked about Kareem. Bruce talked about Kareem and Bill Walton, and they were simpatico politically.
Sure.
Kareem would not, then Louis Alcindor would not participate in the '68 Olympics, and Bill Walton famously didn't in '72, both with their anti-war stance. I wholeheartily respect it. I can't say definitively if I'd have done the same thing, but if I'd have been 7 foot, things might have been different. I can't say that, but I read a great article that, yes, a lot of in '72 about Bill Walton was over his anti-war stance, but also that he had a not so pleasant, great experience in 1970 with the World Games, and they had him on the World team, and he was 17, and kind of didn't like some of the treatment, and the team didn't do very well. And between that and the war, he said, "I'm passing on Olympic tryouts."
Wow, that is fascinating. There's a lot of interesting stories coming out for sure.
It really
this
is.
last week, and it's
that picture of, and it didn't look like it was that long ago, of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Walton.
Yeah.
I mean, just one of my favorites. I got it saved.
Sure, absolutely.
I'll send it to you in the break.
Please. And John was telling me today that he had read somewhere or had a buddy that was telling him that I guess either last night or the night before, Dead & Company were performing at the Sphere in Las Vegas and did a big tribute to Bill Walton, who was a massive deadhead. So I thought that was really cool as well.
Now, isn't John Mayer the front man for the
Dead & Company? That's right. Yes, he sure is. So
wow,
times have changed, Brett. They definitely have changed. But let's go ahead and get to a break. I'm so excited for what we're going to do on the other side. Back in January 17th, I found it. We did our way too early college football playoffs. Now just our early college football playoff brackets. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheese balls.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started Wesley Financial Group to do one thing, help people get out of their timeshare nightmare. When you buy a timeshare, the timeshare company can raise your annual maintenance fees at will. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Want out of your timeshare? Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Price excludes 695 PF. Lease includes PF 695. 650 acquisition fee. EV 6 P5610964. MSRP 50,200. Telluride RG 510 849. MSRP 38305. Forte LXS RE 78169. MSRP 21820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit dealers. I got Jeff Allen on the line to hear about some crazy deals happening at Gossett Kia southbound Mariah.
Randy, I'd love to give all our customers our best deal. 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 282 miles EPA estimated range will get you where you want to go in the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, plus a 2024 Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing and 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9 and peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, we'll make you happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning Repair Team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. With some rain in certain areas, give yourself a little bit of extra time out here. It's heavy, you can tell. It's Friday afternoon on 240 East from Perkins, here up by 385. Sometimes it's just crawling over here, just so you know about it, on 240 East at Poplar, working your way up towards Walnut Grove. It continues to build, headed south of Memphis. That still looks pretty good right now on 55, going southbound down through South Haven. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry here in Memphis has specialized in bridal ring purchases since 1984. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Well, it was January when we broke out the way too early college football playoffs. Now it's May. We're getting closer to the football season. The SEC coaches are in sunny Destin talking about who knows what. And we've got magazines coming out. It's starting to feel a little bit closer to the football season. So we got to get to just our early college football playoff brackets. Brett, mine's a little different than the first one.
Mine's much different than in January. Now, one thing in January really wasn't that clear that the Mountain West was or wasn't going to have an automatic spot. We thought then that they might. A lot of people did. Now they're not. The top spots top spot will not be reserved for them. Kind of some of the pack carryover. The hard one that's going to be all year is going to be the Big 12 champ.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think
you could do this maybe every week.
Yeah,
have that difference.
I'm trying to think. I'm 99. Let me pull up my picture from last time. Yeah, I have different different Big 12 champions now and then.
I have different Big 10. Wow. I have different ACC, and I have different Big 12. And last time I had BYU from the Big 12. This time I'm not going to have them. Last time from the Big 10, I had Ohio State, and I'm torn, and I will be. I think until they play, and they play fairly early in the year, I'll be torn between Ohio State and Oregon, and in the ACC, I'm torn between FSU and Clemson.
Yeah. So it's going to be
not torn in the SEC.
No. I think the SEC might be a little bit easy. I don't know.
Fire away.
All right, I'll start. We'll start at number 1 and work down to number 12. I usually don't like going in that order, but that's what we'll do today. Number 1 for me, the Georgia Bulldogs, the SEC champ. I've got them number 1 overall. 2, I've got Ohio State. I'm sticking with OH for my Big Ten champs. They get the number
I'm
2
not.
seed. Thank you.
I flip-flop.
All right, I like it. Number 3.
I went to Oregon.
Well, I have Oregon still in there. I just don't have them as my conference champs. Number 3, from the Big 12, I have Oklahoma State as my Big 12 champs. I have them as the number 3 seed. It's a little scary, but I'll take Oklahoma State.
I've got them 4.
Okay, all right. I like that. That makes me feel good. Number 4 for me, got the ACC champs. This one's going to surprise a lot of people, Brett. Miami, the Hurricanes, the U is back. How about that? A top 4 seed for the U.
And the U is always back on May 31st.
Oh, absolutely. What is May without the U being back? I mean,
summertime love the whole Mario Cristobal era, and he hadn't done much.
No, he has not done much, but that changes this year. 5 for me. I have Texas, another team that may or may not be back
Texas
every single year. 6, I've got the Oregon Ducks. 7, I've got Michigan. So already 3 Big Ten teams in my college football playoffs. Number 8, I've got Notre Dame. 9, Alabama. 10, Ole Miss. 11, Utah enters the chat. How about that? The Utes. And then number 12, representing the group of 5, the Memphis Tigers.
I'm with you on the number 12 team, the Memphis Tigers. And and we'll get to the next round, 8 and 9, that would be Bama going to South Bend.
How about that?
In the cold. Notre Dame fans would be, but they would be praying. They'd go to Touchdown Jesus right now and start asking for a foot of snow.
Yep. Oh, it'd be great.
If the SEC goes and wins any snow game that weekend, I'm gonna shout it from the rooftops for the end of time, because they want the weather to be so bad. The fans from the South can't get there.
Exactly.
Because they know we can't drive it.
No. That's what I always love. Whenever I run into somebody that's not from here in the winter and they're like, I don't know why the whole city shut down. I'm like, I mean, come on now.
We don't know what we're doing.
We have no idea
We're scared.
what to do. Exactly.
I'm scared to walk in it.
Yeah. Well, that's what when it was that big snow day we had here this year, Coach John DeFilippo, the new Showboats coach,
he was in studio.
He was up here and he was like, man, I just don't understand why everything's shut down. Up where I'm from in Ohio, I mean, school would be in session. I was like, Coach, school's been out for a whole week. I mean, we don't do anything in this.
One snowplow.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think we got more than that.
Yeah.
I thought this year during the bad weather they really did a good job.
I did too. Yeah, I really did.
I thought,
man.
I thought the new mayor was on top of it. Here's mine. My bias: champions of the SEC, Georgia, 1 seed; champion of the Big Ten, the 2 seed, Oregon; champion of the ACC, Florida State. That means they beat the Tigers.
Hell yeah.
I don't think they can be the 3 seed if they lose that game.
No.
4 seed Oklahoma State, 5 Texas, 6 Ohio State, 7 Ole Miss, 8 Alabama. Remember, Ole Miss and Bama don't play this year.
Yeah.
9 Notre Dame, 10 Clemson, 11 LSU,
Wow.
12 the Memphis Tigers. That first weekend, 12 seed Memphis goes to Texas and they lose in that game. 11 seed LSU goes to Ohio State and they lose in that game. Clemson comes to Oxford and loses to Ole Miss in the 10.
Wow.
Clemson will be the 10, Ole Miss will be the 7. And Bama beats Notre Dame in an 8-9 game. I've got them flip-flop from yours.
Wow.
But Bama wins in Tuscaloosa over Notre Dame.
Wow, I like that a lot. Mine, I've got 9 seed Alabama beating 8 seed Notre Dame on the road. I've got Memphis traveling to Texas, which would be I'd be on cloud 9, Brett, if I
Call
could go
the
to
upset.
Austin. Can't call the upset. I hope it happens, but I've got Texas advancing as the 5 seed. I've got Oregon beating Utah in the 11-6 game, Oregon being the 6th team, and I have Ole Miss, the 10 seed, beating 7-seeded Michigan in the 10-7 game, so they also advance.
That would be an Ole Miss win at the Big House.
Yeah, how about that?
I won't even need the airplane to fly home.
Brett, it's gonna be interesting this year when we get to some of these matchups and some of these games. It's
And
gonna be
if
incredible.
Ole Miss won in the snow at the Big
man.
House,
even
we'd make
more,
it even better.
More. That's right.
I'd take my fancy, expensive socks I bought in
There you
Fayetteville
go.
that didn't work. Didn't keep
Wow.
my feet
Well,
warm.
That
Next
was a
round
rough
for me-
time at Fayetteville for you,
Oh,
Brett.
it was. Next round, number 1, Georgia over number 8, Alabama in the Peach Bowl. Number 2, Oregon losing in the Rose Bowl to Ole Miss.
Whoa.
Number 3, Florida State losing in the Sugar Bowl to Ohio
Whoa.
State. And number 4, Oklahoma State losing in the Fiesta Bowl to Texas. So my final 4 would be Georgia playing Texas and Ohio State playing Ole Miss.
Wow. Ours are very similar, Brett. I have number 1 Georgia defeating Alabama in the 1-9. I have Texas, the 5 seed, defeating 4-seeded Miami to advance to the semifinals. I have 6-seeded Oregon defeating Oklahoma State in the 6-3, and I have Ohio State, the 2 seed, defeating Ole Miss, the 10 seed. So that means my final 4 is Texas versus Georgia and Oregon versus Ohio State.
A lot of Big Ten, a lot of SEC.
Oh,
My
yeah.
semis, Cotton Bowl, Georgia defeating Texas. My Orange Bowl, Ohio State defeating Ole Miss.
Wow.
My College Football National Championship game on Monday night, January 20th in Atlanta, Georgia over Ohio State.
Wow, I like that a lot. I've got Texas defeating the Dogs of Georgia, the 5 over the 1. Texas gets a spot
Tell
in the
Bebo to be
national
nice
championship.
this time to the
Well,
little dog.
yeah, it gets
Big
ugly
brute.
out there, Brett. Big fruit. In the second semifinal game, I've got Ohio State defeating Oregon in a Big Ten matchup. Wow, it'd be an SEC matchup versus Big Ten matchup. I'm just realizing that. How about that?
That'd be
Setting up the national championship game. Texas versus Ohio State. And Brett, they will shout it from the rooftops. Texas, they're back.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em. Quinn Ewers, player of the game.
How about that?
Already got player
Texas
of the game.
first year in
How
the
about that?
SEC.
Wouldn't that be something? Now,
Sure would be.
I say all this, and next time, whenever we get to just our college football playoff brackets right before the season starts, we'll look 10 times different from this. I can
My
already
final
guarantee.
4 back in January was Georgia and playing Bama and Oregon beating Ole Miss. Georgia beating Bama, Oregon beating Ole Miss, and Georgia winning it back then. So we did it January 17th. Today's May 31st. I say next time we'll let one fly after
Yeah.
media days
Yeah.
around the country around Friday, July 26th.
Interesting. I like that.
And then the day before the season starts, the one that
really
goes into the Lamb Book of Life.
That's right. My my semifinal last time we did this was number 1 seed Georgia playing number 4 seed Utah, and then Texas still had Texas in there as the 7 seed taking on Michigan, the 6 seed. Had a lot of upsets in the first time we did this.
I just can't keep Georgia, Texas, and Ohio State out
tough.
of my Final Four.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, those 3 teams look like they're a tier above the rest.
They do feel like that, and then I think Oregon's right there.
Oh, absolutely.
In that, and then that next tier could be a lot of different teams.
Yeah, I mean,
and then the next one could really be a lot.
Well, and that's and I don't want to speak for you, but at least it feels like for me the first 2 times I've done this, in my mind it's been like, okay, the 4 teams that I know are going to be towards the top are Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, and Oregon. Now I just got to figure out which team I want to be my SEC champion, which team I want to be my Big Ten champion, and then those other 2 will just go 5, 6, and then we got to figure out 3, 4, and you've got your top 6. It feels like those 4 teams seem like locks, if that's a thing.
Let me clear this up now. Anybody 9-3 in the SEC, you're not a playoff team,
right? Yeah. And that's what's going to be. That's what's going to be the big thing.
Go to Orlando
sure.
to the Citrus Bowl and have a nice time. You're not a playoff team at 9-3,
and that's going to be the thing that I think people aren't talking about yet. Is if you're going to have 4 or 5 teams in the college football playoffs, that means there's going to have to be some damage done in SEC play. Not every team can finish with a really good record. There are going to be teams that are going to have disappointing seasons, teams that kind of struggle. And you're right, 9-3 is not going to get it done. That's simple math. And so it's fun to think of all these teams, but there are going to be some teams that miss out, and for good reason, because they just did not have those great seasons. But I do think there's going to be a lot of expectations for a lot of teams, especially in the SEC. And it'll be fun here in about 15 minutes or so to talk to Trey Schapp and kind of get his take on how many of these teams go into the season with that expectation of making the college football playoffs. Well, let's go ahead and get to a quick break. And when we come back, we got to wrap up our second hour with Big Number of the Day. Stick with us. That's next.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Burgess. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Burgess Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the bike, so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Incentives price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG 510 849, MSRP 38305, Forte LXS RE 78169, MSRP 21820. Plus finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax island license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Texas. Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time. And Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure with Road to I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Booting Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toe boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nouveau lights, good-looking duck-head dress shirts, duck-head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Times Ranch jeans. At Hewitt & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic approved shoes. Hewitt & Dunn Booting Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewitt & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewitt & Dunn. Hewitt & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Jenkins Floors and More invite you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and opening June 1st in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, I'm going back to Major League Baseball for my big number today. My big number today is the number 40. I saw this stat and thought it was really interesting. The Yankees duo of Aaron Judge and Juan Soto have had really, really good starts to the season. Two stats that really jump off the page. Aaron Judge has recorded 45 walks and 18 homers to start the season, while Juan Soto has recorded 40 walks and 15 home runs. That duo of Aaron Judge and Juan Soto are the first pair of teammates in Major League Baseball history with 40-plus walks and 15-plus home runs prior to the start of June in any season. That is incredible.
Gosh, we were just talking about offense being down, and they're doing that in ever in baseball history. Heck, just ever in Yankees history would be remarkable. My big number, it is 12. 12 straight double-digit win seasons for Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers until last year when they just won 9. Just won 9 last year. One losing season in his 15 years there. 2 national championships, both against Alabama at the height of the Bama coach Nick Saban dynasty. And why did so many people want to question and criticize Dabo Swinney? He's almost like, he's kind of Kirk Ferentz's Dabo Swinney light. So many people want to rip on Kirk Ferentz and Dabo Swinney. How many people would trade for those programs?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, it's always
like everybody except for about 3 or 4.
Literally. It's always the thing of, Dabo says things that gets headlines, and he runs his program a different way than I think most people run their programs right now in this day and age. But then you look, we were talking a couple weeks ago with Bill Bender's list of coaches, 30-10 in the last 3 years. I mean, he continues to win, however it may be. And
12-7 in his bowl in bowls at Clemson, 170 wins. The king of Clemson football. I mean, it's so is Newt, Danny Ford, or Frank Howard Rock than anything. And there's still so many that want to pick at them. And you're right, they run it their way. Mm-hmm. Brian, we are in the most intolerant times ever to anybody different.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
This is the biggest pack mentality, sameness, whether it's opinion or how to run a program or how to do anything.
Yeah.
If you deviate at all,
oh yeah.
What are you doing that for?
Well, and I mean, you just mentioned Kirk Ferentz. I mean, Iowa football.
Exactly.
It is not a sexy brand of football, but they win games, but because they're not throwing it all over the field and have this super up-tempo offense, it's deemed a bad football team.
And Ferentz and Dabo really catch it from a lot of people.
They sure do. They're kind of the poster boys of this is not how you should coach, but they win.
Speaking of our good friend Bill Bender, and I know he can handle it. I know it was in fun. He was on today with Paul Feinbaum because he wrote a big piece at Sporting News. I would suggest everybody go read it about the Super Conference, the 40-team Super Conference, and how he came up with his teams and how he did it. And he left out Vanderbilt from the SEC.
Yeah.
And when Paul Feinbaum was introducing his guest today, he said Bill Bender would join us and tell us how one team from the SEC didn't make it into his Super Conference. I think he was on a bender when he wrote this story.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is great. Wow. Yeah, no, I need to go look at that story. I've not seen that story yet, but that's interesting, and you're going to see a lot of that.
It's going to happen,
sure,
but it's a long time off, and it's not going to be 40.
No,
but it was a provocative piece. But
for
Bill,
sure,
it was his opinion. Again,
absolutely.
There's not anything wrong with being different, and not being everybody in the same little cubicle.
Yeah, no, and I think those pieces are fascinating. I mean, we talked about, what was it, a couple months ago, the 80-team idea that a lot of people wrote about, and that one was actually has been proposed. But I
don't think it'll be that high.
No, I don't think it'll be that high.
It'll be 80, but it won't be 40.
Exactly. It'll be somewhere in between 80 and 40, I think, is that sweet spot. But it's interesting, kind of see these ideas and how people get there. And, I think it's all fascinating. I don't think, anybody should be mad at it because they have, only these 40 are going to get in. I mean, it's interesting stuff.
Boy, it's lockstep. Everybody agree, or they come after you.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right about that. But you mentioned Paul Feinbaum. He's been doing a lot of the work down in Destin. His show's been down there all week covering the SEC spring meetings. And we need to get to a break because when we come back, we're going to talk a lot about the SEC spring meetings down in Dallas because Trey Schapp from 103.7 The Buzz in Little Rock, he'll join us. We'll talk SEC. We'll talk Razorbacks next on Sports Time.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also help you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Hi, this is Jay Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home. With Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out of the store.
Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jay Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home. With Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out of the store.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is an ACUSA church located in town Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Some rain in certain areas. Give yourself a little bit of extra time out here. It's heavy, you can tell. It's Friday afternoon on 240 East from Perkins here up by 385. Sometimes it's just crawling over here, just so you know about it, on 240 East at Poplar, working your way up towards Walnut Grove. It continues to build. Headed south of Memphis. That still looks pretty good right now on 55 going southbound down through South Haven. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry here in Memphis has specialized in bridal ring purchases since 1984. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now to talk some SEC and some Razorbacks, Trey Schapp from 103.7 The Buzz in Little Rock joins us now. Trey, a busy man right now with SEC meetings going on in Destin, also Arkansas Razorbacks hosting a regional this weekend. Busy weekend for you.
Yeah, it is a busy weekend, guys, but the SEC spring meetings wrapped up yesterday, and Arkansas and Southeast Missouri, they're in a tough one in the top of the seventh in Fayetteville right now. Arkansas leading 10-9 with the Redhawks having 2 on and 2 out, runners at first and second.
Wow.
Did you see that coming, Trey, to have difficulty today with SEMO?
SEMO can hit. I know that. But I didn't think they could put up at least 8 runs on Arkansas stats. I mean, Arkansas had a 7-run second inning to take an 8-0 lead, and then SEMO came back, tied it up 8-8. Arkansas scored 2 to make it 10-8, and SEMO has scored 1 in the seventh, the top of the seventh. But no, I didn't see that coming.
before we get to everything in Destin, I'm going to ask you this about baseball, and then I'll get to football and men's basketball coming up. Right now, what are the expectations, do you think, from the great Arkansas fan base about this Dave Van Horn team? Is it win it all or bust? What is it?
I think it's get to Omaha and try and get to the championship series. The way the season started, they were number one for a long time, and they don't have Brady Tigert on the 27-man roster this weekend. One of their Saturday, he was their Saturday starter for most of the SEC season. He's got a little shoulder problem going on, but obviously they did pitch Hagen Smith today. The last time that he threw was down in Hoover at the SEC baseball tournament. Struggled there. Some were saying his velocity wasn't the same, so we don't know if it was just to get him out there, let him throw a little bit, and he knew that he wasn't going to throw a whole lot, so he didn't try to overdo it. Who knows? But he is slated to go tomorrow, no doubt, in the regional, whether they play Kansas State or Louisiana Tech.
Interesting. Oh, for the SEC as a group today, it feels like kind of playing a little tight. It's been a lot of close games. Saw South Carolina had to walk it off earlier. LSU had to win with a walk-off earlier. Do you feel like those teams are going to start kind of getting more comfortable as the weekend goes on?
I think so. When you look at the SEC in baseball, and they had a dominant conference getting 11 teams in, and then when you count the other two that are coming in next year, Texas and Oklahoma. Oklahoma's hosting. Texas is also in the tournament at Texas A&M, so you could realistically say that 13 of the 16 schools out of the SEC are playing in the NCAA postseason baseball tournament. I think you would think that some would struggle, but the league as a whole should be able to get multiple teams to Omaha.
Yeah, sure should. Been a scuffle today. Trey Shapp joins us, and he's been in Destin all week. What was the biggest thing resolved going in Destin that going into the week you were wanting to see some resolution about?
Okay, Stats, you're going to laugh at this one. But the biggest one is, hey, guess what? There are no more divisions. They made it official.
There you go.
They passed legislation.
We kind of knew that one was coming, though, didn't we?
Yeah, we knew that was coming. They passed legislation yesterday that did away with divisions. That goes into the bylaws. The other one that I say is the Will Wade rule, is the fact that if you are an athletic director and you try to hire a coach that has a level 1 or level 2 infraction with the NCAA, you have to take that hire to your president or chancellor first of your university before you even approach that particular coach and explain to your president or chancellor why you want to hire this guy. So that's one. The other one is bowl payouts. They're increasing the bowl payouts to teams that make bowl games, and so not as much revenue share there, but more money going to the teams that make the bowls. Travel costs have gotten higher, and so part of that goes to that.
Travel costs have gotten higher, and all these staffs have gotten so much higher, and hotels and charters to the bowl have gotten really expensive. There was one thing that Bryant and I both were kind of alert to. What was the language about passing that agents would be credentialed? Are we talking about
they
have sideline passes? They dropped it. Okay.
They dropped that one. So that one never came up. There were 5 legislative proposals. That was one they dropped. The one they didn't drop was it gives the athletic departments the right to punish students for not going to class, basically. Instead of the institution doing it, now the athletic departments can actually do that.
Interesting.
Wait, you telling me they got to go to class?
Oh yeah. Hey, who thought? Whoa, we're in
still
school.
A thing?
Yeah, that's such a
No,
thing. Well,
Trey,
hey, most of them are online now anyway.
That's
Just
a good
get on
point.
your computer and sign up. Yeah.
Trey, I was going to lose my mind because already, especially radio, I mean, we're just falling further and further down the credential list around the SEC. And at the SEC basketball tournament, I think it's obscene where they seat a lot of radio for the radio that we give, every day, the prominence and the publicity to it. If we were going to lose space and lose seats to agents, if agents can't pay for their own tickets, then I was going to lose my mind.
Yeah. Agents make a ton of money. They can find their way to get in to watch the game, don't you think?
I think they should. Now, I also think they were wanting some access to sideline and to locker room, and all the teams would be for that, just like they're for NFL being credentialed scouting.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the NFL gets to send scouts to watch games. I guess agents on the sidelines. I don't see what would be wrong with that, but I don't see locker room access. I don't go with that one.
I was listening to you on Wednesday night. I think it was. You were doing a hit with Randy and Rick on their show. And did I hear correctly? You had 52 seconds with John Calipari.
That was a one-on-one with him as he was walking away from the scrum that he did. He actually stopped, and I actually got 52 seconds is what the total amount of time was. But he stood and did a scrum for well over 10 minutes with the assembled media there. But yeah, it's a new day in Arkansas when you're trying to cover your own team, and with Coach Cal there, and even Cal Parkinson, the sports information director, told me, he said, "Hey, we're still trying to figure out Cal." So the Arkansas media is going to have to figure him out too.
Well, we got him figured out here, and he's a handful.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
And just wait until he wins.
Yes, and then it gets worse, right?
Yeah.
Then Hunter's going to enter into a new world. Hunter Yurchek, Trey will enter into a new world when he has to book meetings with his basketball coach through his secretary 3 weeks in advance.
No doubt. And here's the other thing, too, Stats, that was funny. Is I was talking to Hunter yesterday. He said, I'm glad Cal showed up down here in Destin because it gave us a time to kind of talk and go over some things, because he's been on the road recruiting. He's had to get a team. He's had to build a staff. And so he really hadn't had a lot of interaction with Hunter back and forth since the hiring really became official.
I've asked this of Bryant, and I've asked it rhetorically on our air and for our text chatter. In the first 4 years for Eric Musselman at Arkansas, he won 8 NCAA tournament games. Over or under, John Calipari in his first 4 years, will he go over or under 8 wins in the NCAA tournament?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I do think he's re-energized, but I'm going to say he goes under. I'm going to put it at 7.
Right there.
If it's 7 with a Final Four, he's shielded from everything. But he's got to get to a Final Four, doesn't he? Because Moss got to an Elite Eight. Arkansas fans, they're not playing for Elite Eights.
No. And Stats, if he goes one and done next year, what's going to be the talk?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's got a penchant for that at Kentucky, and we'll see if he's re-energized. I think he is, too. And I think it was, as we talked about after the hiring, we had you on, it was a great hire. Hunter Yurchek saved the day. He made that work. Speaking of which, did you see Chris Beard at Media Days?
I did. I did.
Or Destin?
I got to talk to Chris Beard for a little bit. And one thing he told me, I said, Coach, your first year in the league, what were your thoughts? He said, Trey, the visiting arenas blew me away. The noise level that is created and the intensity of the fan bases just totally took him away. He said that doesn't come across on television. And so that's one thing. And, Stats, you've been to visiting arenas. I've been to visiting arenas around the SEC. And Chris Beard is right on. When your team is winning at Auburn and Bruce Pearl has it rolling, the Jungle, Auburn Arena, it is
toughest place in the league.
I remember when Beard Eves, when they were playing in there, and it was awful for games there. But once they got that new arena right there outside of Jordan-Hare, it is an intense place to play. Coleman Coliseum has gotten that way under Nate Oates. You go to Rupp Arena, you know what that is like. It's crazy. Thompson rolling the way Tennessee's rolling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you go to the Hump, and it's even tough to play down there.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned John Calipari's been real busy since taking the job trying to get a team assembled. I remember his quote at his introductory press conference where he said, there is no team. And so he's had to go out there and try to get a lot of guys in. What do you think of the roster as it stands today?
It looks good. It looks good. And I think he was telling us a couple days ago he wants 9. And then anybody else that comes on, yes, they're going to be walk-ons, but he says they're going to be scholarship walk-ons.
Yeah, that was interesting.
They might not make NIL money, but they're going to be on a scholarship. So he's going to have some guys that are not having to pay for their school to be
Practice
a part
players.
of their the basketball team. Yeah, practice players, and who knows, you might find a diamond in the rough.
Sure.
You could. You sure could. We got to work with Cal on this, though. He's convinced that Oakland team averaged 25 years old and the three-pointer guy was 26. He was 24. The rest of the team was 19, 20, and 21. Cal, nobody was 26.
No. You're exactly right. But, hey, how about him getting Arkansas already, before they've even played a game? They've got a game in North Rock. We know that one's going to happen. He's playing one in Dallas, and they're going to MSG, Madison Square Garden, to take on Michigan in the Jimmy V Classic. Stats, you cannot buy that type of exposure, and that is what Arkansas is getting now with Cal as their head coach.
Yeah, I think John Calipari gets his mail at Madison Square Garden. He's there so much. Our good friend Trey Shapp with us. The comfortability of Greg Sankey. I know there are people in the SEC office that have talked about the last 6 months being worse than trying to deal around COVID, trying to deal around all this legislation, and now going to pay the players. What's the temperature on Greg Sankey as the face of college football?
It seemed to me like there were a lot more gray in the hairs of Commissioner Sankey. He mentioned the fact that he's already been to Washington, D.C. 5 times this year alone.
Whoa.
Since January 1st. So when you're having to go to Washington, D.C. and try and get in front of Congress and try and explain and educate them on college football, on how it works, that's an issue. And you're in an election year, and he was saying stats that there might be a new Congress come January of next year. And there might be a new president in the White House. So then you'd have to circle back around and re-educate them on what's going on. He would like a national standard, and I just don't think we can get there, because even across the SEC footprint, the rules in Tennessee are different than the rules in Arkansas, that are different than the rules in Missouri or Louisiana when it comes to paying college athletes.
Oh, man, that sounds like a nightmare. I mean,
it does.
Oh, geez. And then I didn't even think about it being an election year, and it could
That's
be
a
a new guy in there.
Swamp.
Good Lord.
Yep, crazy.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound fun. Trey, we got some scheduling news yesterday, some start times and networks for some of these SEC games. One thing that I thought was very interesting, the Egg Bowl will be moved from Thanksgiving night to Friday, Black Friday, that 2:30 spot that we've kind of gotten used to Missouri and Arkansas being that spot. That will now move to Saturday. What do you think of, one, the Egg Bowl moving to that Friday, and then Missouri and Arkansas being moved to that Saturday?
Well, I think obviously the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss and Mississippi State is a bigger game than Arkansas, Missouri, playing for the Battle Line Trophy. ESPN still has some windows there on Friday, so let's not just assume that it's going to Saturday, because I was asking some people yesterday about that. They said, be careful when you assume. So I'm not going to assume, but it does look like it is going to be a Saturday game, which for me personally, I love, because, hey, I'm going to be in AT&T Stadium on Thursday for the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day against the Giants. And then if I've got to get to Como, I need to have some time to get there. And American Airlines tries to screw up my flights all the time when trying to leave on a Thursday night, on Thanksgiving night, to get there by a Friday. So that's just me personally. But, I would like that game to be on Saturday as opposed to a Friday. But, hey, I like the Egg Bowl on Friday as opposed to Thanksgiving night as well, because now the NFL is playing 3 games on Thanksgiving Day. So you put the Egg Bowl there on Friday, mid-afternoon. It's opposite of NFL, and ABC's got a lineup on Friday now. Black Friday, they've got Oklahoma State, Colorado, I believe, at 11. Ole Miss, Mississippi State at 2:30. Georgia Tech, Georgia at 6:30, all on ABC. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. Brian, I forgot to tell you that Trey is gigantic Cowboys
I love
fans.
that.
Brian is gigantic Cowboy fan as well. Often will wear his Micah Parsons jersey to the studio.
Well, here's the problem, guys. The Cowboys haven't been in the conference finals since '95. The Mavs are in the finals, and the Stars are trying to get to the finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Rangers won it last year. I'm not a Ranger fan. You know I'm a Cub fan, Stats. But I do like the Stars and I do like the Mavs. But come on, Cowboys, when are we going to do something and be relevant again?
you know Jerry Jones is asking that same question.
Sure is.
Trey.
Well, he's got the answer, doesn't he?
Well, he usually
acts like he does.
he always does on that Tuesday radio hit in Dallas, which
Yes,
is
he
amazing
Yes, he
in
does.
season.
Yeah.
Are the ACC SEC basketball challenge this year?
Yes.
Is it just going to be a reverse of the opponents from last year, or will
No.
it be new opponents?
No, it's going to be new opponents, and obviously with Texas and OU coming in, I do know that OU is playing in that this year because I saw Porter Mosier, and he was lobbying. I can't remember the guy's name that kind of sets that up. I think Porter and OU are playing in Atlantis, the Battle for Atlantis there in the Bahamas this year, and he was hoping for a Wednesday date for that as opposed to a Tuesday date for that ACC-SEC challenge. And so he was saying, hey, let my guys get back, get their legs under us. We want to play on Wednesday. We want to play on Wednesday. So I think it's going to be new opponents for that.
That will be fun. Will all 16 play in it? I don't know how many are
sure.
in the ACC.
I'm not sure. Well, yeah, the ACC, they've got, 18, don't they?
18, yeah.
Yeah. So, all 16 should be able to play. I mean, you've got SMU in there now, right? Utah.
No, Utah's in the Big 12.
No, that's right. They're in the Big
Stanford.
12. Yeah, you're right. Cal and Stanford.
Cal and SMU and Stanford. There's a lot of new. All right, final question.
Can they call that just American Coast to Coast Conference?
There you go.
Sea to Shining Sea Conference. It is. I mean, it's across the whole country. For the summer for Sam Pittman, what are the reasonable, attainable, fair expectations for him?
Get to a bowl game. Get to a bowl game, and if you win it, that's icing on the cake. I think that's it. Man, they just
would he return after that?
I believe he would, or he might just say, "I've done my time. Here's your head football coach, Bobby Petrino."
It's just my hunch, just pure speculation, gut. This is his last year, regardless. If he got to a bowl, he did revive it. The first few years really worked well. He can claim success if he goes to a bowl and hand it over. And if it's a rough start and a even rougher finish, they're going to make a big change.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening, but I just think that if they can get to a bowl game, I mean, you look at their schedule; it's the second toughest schedule in college football. So if they could somehow find a way to get to a bowl game, I think that would be big for them.
Yeah,
I really do. Yeah. I really, really do.
Trey, I'm curious. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now, and Brett and I just did our kind of way too early college football playoff predictions. How many SEC teams enter the season? How many teams enter media days with the expectations of making the college football playoffs?
I'm going to say enter football media days in Dallas at the Omni. I'm going to set that at 5.
Okay.
And I'm going to say actually get in at 3.
Ooh.
Well, if
possibly
it's 3,
4.
If it's 3, there are going to be some people really hot.
Yeah.
It's probably 4. I'm going to go 4.
I'm at 4.
Georgia, Texas. Well, hold on. Let me think again because I didn't have Texas and OU
there
in
you
there.
Go, yeah.
I'm going to set it at 6, and I'm going to say 4 get in. Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama.
Yeah.
And I have LSU. I have 5 in.
Yeah, I think I have
You got LSU in. I think they have the expectations that they go in. Yes, I think OU has expectations that they should be in based on history. But boy, Brent Venables struggled last year. He's got a lot to do this year. He might be one guy that hey, if the season doesn't go good starting out early.
Oh, yeah.
But look at Georgia though, guys. They play games at Texas, at Ole Miss, at Alabama.
It's tough.
Who was the most comfortable coach in Destin?
The most comfortable coach?
Mm-hmm.
Vic Schaefer, head coach, Texas women's basketball.
I like that.
Is that right?
I like that. A curveball in there, Trey.
I mean, he's been in the league before. He took Mississippi State, a team that had
That's
never
right.
done anything in women's college basketball, to
That's a
back-to-back
great
Final
answer.
Fours. Should have beaten UConn and won a national title. And it took a miracle shot by Notre Dame to beat them. But, yeah, I would say him because he's been in the league. He knows what he's getting into, and he's got a heck of a team in Texas.
Who was most uncomfortable?
Most uncomfortable might have been, I'm going to stick with women's basketball and Missouri, Robin Pingerton, head coach there at Missouri. I should just say Missouri basketball as a whole.
On television, the aforementioned Brent Venables didn't seem like he was that enamored by being there.
Yeah, he might not have been. Yeah, you're right. He did look a little nervous when he was in a media scrum, too.
And OU historically, they don't dig real deep. When they think they've got to move away from a coach, they do it.
Yep. And Joe Castiglione has been the guy that he'll pull the trigger if he needs to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Trey, a lot of fun chatting with you. Thanks so much for joining us, and let's do this again soon.
Did you win all the money on the golf course?
Oh, good question, Brett.
Stats. I got to tell you, I got to the last hole playing my brother-in-law. I had to give him 17 strokes.
17 strokes? My goodness.
We get to the last hole, and we're playing for this replica British Open trophy.
Yeah.
It's the Hansa Schaap Cup. It's the first time we've ever played for it.
Right.
The thing's in Fort Worth right now.
Whoop, 17 strokes. Come on, man.
Yeah, 17 strokes. I know. But, no, I had to give him 17 strokes. I lost the last hole.
Wow.
And that
You probably shot, about 69 or 70?
I wish I would have, but no, it was not that. Unfortunately.
Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you in Big D.
I will see you in Dallas.
You got it, man. Thanks.
All right, guys.
Trey Schaap joining us from 103.7
17
The Buzz.
strokes?
I mean, that is...
I'd play Tiger Woods getting 17.
I'd play anybody getting 17. That's incredible.
That's a nice brother-in-law, isn't it?
It sure is. Yeah,
Trey's a good
they don't
guy.
make them like that. Yeah, that's great. Oh, man, I'd need a lot more than 17, I'm afraid.
I'd take my chances with 17.
I don't know. I'd maybe take my chances. I might need some more.
All right, I shoot 95.
Yeah.
Less 17, I'll take my chances with most people.
Brett, I'm glad we're talking golf. I have a great for what I could have done without today. I have a great
I'm ready
nugget
for it.
golf
We'll get it in
that
about 20,
I don't
30
think
minutes.
anybody sees coming. Maybe if you were on social media today, would be the only place you would have seen this nugget, and I've got it.
Golf related, I assume.
Golf related. So I'm excited about it. Very wild score today for somebody. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Cottonville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695. $650 acquisition fee. EV6 P5610964. MSRP $50,200. Telluride RG510-849. MSRP $38,305. Forte LXS RE780-169. MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit dealers. I got Jeff Allen on the line to hear about some crazy deals happening at Gossett Kia southbound Mariah.
Randy, I'd love to give all our customers our best deal. 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG Highway, $199 a month, $34.99 do-it signing. 282 miles EPA estimated range will get you where you want to go in the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, plus a 2024 Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 do-it signing and 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9 and peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, we'll make you happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
I've got Jason, the main man marshal here, and he's ready to start something big at Gossett Volkswagen on the right. What's up, Jason?
Randy, I've got 42 MPG on the highway on the all-new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for only $249 a month. Or take your pick from the 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or 2024 Taos SE. We got it at $279.28 a month.
That's a 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE, $249 a month. Or take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S or 2024 Taos SE, $279.28 a month.
And Randy, you know the deal. Make me an offer because no reasonable offer will be refused.
Ask for Jason, the main man marshal at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 coming to Pike. Online, GossettBWMemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A lot going on. There's a crash out here on 40 westbound at 269 coming in from Fayette County. It's just crawling now on 40 westbound, trying to get into Shelby County. Again, coming in from Fayette County is a mess. There's also that wreck still being cleared on Bill Morris Parkway going outbound right there at Ridgeway. That's why it's slower than normal on 240 trying to get on to 385. A wreck in the Midtown area. It's also got traffic jammed up on 40 westbound right there at the 4240 interchange in the Midtown area. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry here in Memphis has specialized in bridal ring purchases since 1984. They know what they're doing. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. We got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. And don't look now, Brett, but a football game. It's broke out in Fayetteville, in the Fayetteville Regional between Arkansas and SEMO. 14-9. How about that for a baseball score?
Sam Pittman would take that, wouldn't he?
Oh, I think every day. I mean, 2 touchdowns.
There's a lot of times last year they didn't get to 14.
Well, yeah, I think he'd take that. Why not? Maybe not against SEMA, though.
Remember that 7-3 game against Mississippi State?
Brad, I do.
Whew.
That was an ugly one.
That was an all-timer.
That was a really ugly one. But no, some interesting games going on. I mentioned it earlier. South Carolina, we were talking about them earlier. They had to walk it off in their game earlier today against James Madison. I just, I still have a lot of faith in these SEC teams, but very few of them have been really impressive today.
Georgia narrowly winning 8-7. Florida had trouble with Nebraska most of the day. They did win.
Yeah,
that's the object of the game.
That's right.
5-2. But it was no bulldozer. It was no SEC dominance by any means. And then A&M only scoring 8 against Grambling.
Yeah,
I think that over and under was 16.5.
Yeah, I believe. I think to even take Texas A&M on the spread on the run line for that game was 9.5. I mean, it was. So I do not think they covered the run line in that game. But
Coastal Carolina came in really limping. A lot of people questioning how they got in. I did question. Their AD was on the committee. It was a good year to be the AD on the committee. Then they go out and blast Vanderbilt 13-3. LSU lucky to escape 4-3 over Wofford. Kentucky out to an early lead, had to hang on to win 10-8 with that bogus infield they have there. I guess they're broke at Kentucky.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of money. But, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, Kentucky goes out there and gets all over Western Michigan, and then Western Michigan fights back, and that becomes a game in the last couple of innings. Same thing we're seeing with Arkansas, where they're up, 8 runs, and then it gets scary, and now they've put on some more runs and have a good lead right now in the bottom of the 8th. But it hadn't been easy for them. It's been a little nerve-wracking in Fayetteville.
Bama 3-2 in the first inning against UCF.
Yeah, and that one's going to be a fun one. I know a lot of people like UCF coming in, kind of down on Alabama. I was not one of those people. I think, UCF could still win this game. That one should be a good one. We got Tennessee about to play at the top of the hour against Northern Kentucky. They shouldn't have trouble with that game, but again, we're seeing teams that probably shouldn't have trouble having some trouble today, so that'll be interesting. Mississippi State, a good test for them against a good St. John's team, also at 6 o'clock. So some good games coming up.
East Carolina from the AAC, they lost at home to Evansville. Purple Aces 4-1.
Yeah, good Evansville team. Played some really good ball this year. East Carolina kind of limped in there. Did not look good in the conference tournament. A team I've mentioned a couple times, they're dealing with a lot of injuries to their rotation, and so that's definitely hurting them. But they've got Wake Forest in their region. It's not going to be easy for East Carolina going in and now having to play in the losers bracket. Going to be a really tough weekend for them, I think.
Boy, in the SAT Bowl, Virginia 4-2 over Penn.
Yeah, how about that? And Penn, obviously, one of the big stories from last year, had a lot of success in the regionals last year. Played good ball today against Virginia. I think only holding a good Virginia team to 4 runs, I think, was big. I believe, Mississippi State also in that region alongside St. John's. So that should be a region to keep an eye on. I think Mississippi State has a great chance of coming out of that one.
Save your college football way too early on CFP, but I think you had Memphis as the 12 going to Austin, didn't you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
As the 5, we both had that.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be the good Friday night kickoff the weekend game?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
DKR in Austin.
Oh, that'd be great. I would have no problems with that, and I think there's a lot of fans out there that if you could tell them this year you could have an opportunity to go down to Florida State in the regular season, and then down to Austin to play Texas in the college football playoffs. I mean,
Green
what
season.
A year! That's incredible.
And probably in that, if we know the first thing's going to occur, we know they're going to Tallahassee in September. If they go to Austin in December, that means you've probably hosted and won the AAC championship game. At Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
Yeah, and so it would be a great year, and I think
wouldn't it?
A lot of excitement around it, and should be. So I think it's awesome. And you look around, even more people starting to come out with their predictions and college football playoff, and you're seeing Memphis in a lot of them. So and it feels like this team Because I think that could be a lot of pressure on a team, especially, a group of 5 team when there's only one spot for you to have that pressure on you. But it feels like Ryan Silverfield, this entire staff, and a lot of these players on this team, kind of know what the expectation is, and they're, really going with it and saying, hey, that is not too big for us. We know what we got to do out there, and we're going to make it happen. And so, I think they have a lot of confidence in themselves.
And I mentioned that Friday night game. We're going to have one Friday night game and then 3 that Saturday on campus. And it would help. I know Friday would be hard for some to get to Austin. But remember, on that Saturday, that's Tigers and Mississippi State at FedEx Forum in basketball Saturday the 21st. So you could have that playoff game in Austin. Just a great scene there. Just one of the best in college football. The whole scene and the whole Friday night scene and then get back home and play the Bullies in basketball.
Yeah, and so from a viewing standpoint, I think that would be the most ideal.
Almost system overload, wouldn't it?
Oh, it'd be crazy. But if you could get it Friday and then Saturday where you can give all your focus on Friday to football, Saturday turn your attention to the basketball team, I think that'd be great because I think my fear would be is somehow those games get kind of overlapped on each other and maybe Memphis football is going on a Saturday, maybe that middle of the day game or something like that, and basketball is going around the same time against Mississippi State, and you're trying to find ways to watch them both. I'm sure the athletic department would be very creative, and I remember a couple years ago, I forgot which bowl it was, but Memphis was playing Wake Forest in a bowl game a couple years ago, and basketball was playing at the same time. And on the Jumbotron, they were playing the football game in there before the game started. So, if that had to happen, they'd get creative. They'd find ways to make it work so that everybody can enjoy both. But it's setting up to be a lot of fun that day.
It's going to be a lot of fun this season. And talking about it in your college football bracket. You had Notre Dame. Right? You had Notre Dame as the 8.
Yeah,
I had them as the 9. It wouldn't be the case for Alabama, but for if it's Ole Miss against Notre Dame, that would be the biggest game ever.
For sure.
I know Ole Miss has played, and Ole Miss has defeated Notre Dame, but hadn't played them since 1985. The return game from the famous upset in '77. The return game wasn't until '85, and it was late in the year, and it was not a great day. But that'd be the biggest game ever in Oxford.
For sure, and I think it will be like that.
And if they went to South Bend, biggest game ever.
Absolutely. I think you mentioned wouldn't be for Alabama, but there's a lot of teams out there that it would be. I mean, that is Notre Dame. That is one of the premier logos and teams and identities in college athletics and probably even in sports in general. And so to be able to play maybe even a campus game in South Bend against Notre Dame would be incredible.
Remember one time when we did, and I don't know how many we listed, but we had our biggest American sports brands, and I can't remember my exact order, but I know I had Augusta National, the Yankees, Alabama, Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean it's up
Alabama
there.
football, Notre Dame
and
football.
So is Alabama. I mean those two are the premier football brands, and I think those two carry the weight for an entire sport, and like you just mentioned, they're up there with a golf tournament that even people that don't even like golf make sure they tune into, and the biggest brand that the Yankees are, that you go around and you see people wearing Yankees hats and you go, oh man, you a Yankees fan? They're like, no, it's just a iconic logo. And so I think that speaks a lot for
do
those
they have
two.
a City Connect uniform?
The Yankees? I don't think so. I don't believe so.
They just bowed out. Do the Dodgers?
The Dodgers do, but it's very basic if I remember correctly. But I don't think the Yankees do. They might have one coming.
So you could opt out?
I don't know if you can opt out. Like I said, they might have one coming that they just haven't debuted yet. But I don't think
there'll be people howl over that.
Oh yeah. And then maybe they're not going to have one. I don't know. I would have to look into
it is
that.
kind of funny when you see the Yankee home pinstripe jersey out among fans.
Of course.
And you see somebody with the name on the back. Well, there's not a name on the back of the real jersey.
Yes, that is that's a good point. Let's see. Yankees not receiving City Connect uniforms in 2024. I don't know if it says whether they will or why they're not having it, if it was like an opt-out or Yeah, it looks like they might get one later, but definitely not this year. So that's
looks like my buddy Ish Ordonez has tacked on a field goal for the Razorbacks. They lead 17 to 9 now over Seymour.
Wow, look at that. A little field goal action.
Boy, Brad, I hope you had over in that.
Oh, man. Brett, I'll be honest. I think I've only played like 2 college baseball games today.
Well, you've been working all day or something?
I have, actually. But it's honestly kind of overwhelming. It feels like you get
what do you mean, 32 games?
Yeah, you get like 6 games starting at 11, and then you get like 3 more starting at 12, and then a whole nother wave at 2 o'clock. And a little overwhelming for me, Brett. I'll be completely honest. But yes, I
Oregon
hope
and
everyone
San Diego, they're in a pretty good one. Oregon leads 5-4, and San Diego, that's the Toreros.
That's right.
David Fisdale's alma mater.
How about that? Wow. San Diego. Yeah, they got some. I like their uniforms.
Tigers played them in an NIT here, I think, Coach Hardaway's first year.
You're absolutely right. I remember that game very well. I was working for the campus station.
You did the game?
I did the game. That's right. A little NIT action. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this the college baseball.
That's where I first
day.
met you that year.
Yeah, it
in
was.
The media room.
That's right, in the media room. You meet a lot of people in the media room sometimes, and some better than others. No, I'm kidding. No,
you're not.
Well, you take that for what it's worth, I guess. But no, I am enjoying this baseball action. Like you said, kind of curious. UCF now up on Alabama, just like that. 4-3 lead for UCF. So. I don't know.
You think they've got any side wagers on to really settle that what UCF viewed as a disputed national championship?
Brett, that's a great question. I don't know. I mean, whoever wins this game is the real champions from that season.
That didn't go over well in Tuscaloosa.
No, for good reason. I mean, it's ridiculous. But hey, hang your little banner if you want. That's fine.
They have it on their press box.
They do. You're right. At the bounce house.
And Brian, during that time, I was thoroughly opposed to them doing that. And people would go, well, they're acclaimed national championships from way back that get a little funny. Yeah, it sure is. Sure. It sure is. And we know voting was different at that time, like at the end of the, they did it after the season, before the bowl, and that would skew things. But at least someone legitimate gave it to them.
Yeah. No,
nobody.
Yeah, not the same.
Nobody gave that to UCF. They just said, we're champions.
Yeah, because at least back then, when you had those type of champions, it could be like, oh, this was this type of champion. This was this type of champion. UCF is just like, we felt like we wanted to be the champions, and we felt like we should have deserved it, so we're going to claim it.
Out of thin blue sky.
Yeah, that's not the same thing at all.
At least a legitimate organization designated some of those disputed ones from the past.
Crazy, but hey, if that's what they want, good for it. If it makes them feel good about themselves, by all means, I guess.
Go ahead.
Let's go ahead and get to our last break of the day. When we come back, wrapping up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Tend to overdo things a little bit once spring takes hold, and some of the time we might wake up with a little bit of a headache and a lot of appetite. Your answer to a big night before is a breakfast or lunch at Sunrise. Sunrise East on Poplar and Sunrise on Jefferson are made for filling your belly with sweet relief. Have some signature square biscuits, some perfectly prepared eggs, or at lunch, a nice juicy Sunrise burger. And if your night before isn't quite over, both Sunrise locations have a full bar. Sunrise on Poplar and Sunrise on Jefferson, the perfect place to get over last night.
Smith on the line and Johnson. Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the fight. And Ronnie, it's the season for the Memorial Day sales again.
It's time to rock, Randy, in your new 2023 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4-wheel drive. $25,899 or $389 a month. That's $5,206 off MSRP. How about a 2024 Dodge Hornet GT all-wheel drive? Packing up to 268 horsepower plus 295 pound-feet of torque. 32,320 plus power up in our 2023 Dodge Charger SXT 4-door. $28,072. That's over $9,000 off MSRP.
So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat along the pipe or online anytime. GossettMotorcars.net.
is key during Craftsman Days at Lowe's. Right now, get one free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of a V20 drill or impact driver kit for $69. Don't miss your chance to save on the high-quality, high-performance tools you need during Craftsman Days. Because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows home improvement. $1 through $6.19. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Extraordinary events come once in a blue moon, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family. But hurry, the best pricing of the year ends May 31st. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
As the seasons change, so does the need for reliable home comfort. It's time to turn to the experts with Choates, where your family's comfort is our top priority. Right now, Choates is making it easier than ever to upgrade your home's climate control with our exceptional Carrier systems. There's never been a better time to enhance your comfort. Select from incredibly low monthly payments, 36 months no interest financing, or choose our $1,650 Cool Cash rebate instead and lower the upfront cost on select Carrier systems. It's not just savings, it's Cool Cash in your pocket. Low monthly payments, no interest financing, or Cool Cash rebates? Whatever you choose, you're choosing quality, reliability, and the trusted service of Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to learn more about these incredible savings. But hurry, these deals are as fleeting as a cool breeze on a hot day. Choates, let our family serve your family.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, high school.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, I saw this earlier from Adam Schefter. Gable Steveson, an Olympic gold medalist and one of the most dominant college wrestlers in NCAA history, is signing with the Buffalo Bills per his agent. Steveson will try to join Bob Hayes as the only athlete to win a Super Bowl ring and an Olympic gold medal. The 6'1", 275-pound wrestler is expected to play defensive line, something he has never done during his athletic career. In fact, the first time he ever put on a pair of cleats was during his recent workout with the Bills. So best of luck to him.
Bullet Bob Hayes, Olympic sprinter in '64 in Tokyo, and Super Bowl champion with the Cowboys and in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So would you say wrestler or wrestler?
Wrestler. Big difference
So
there, Brett.
Never pulled a chain on
No chains.
Never went full Dave Brown. Lance, I think he's got a chain?
No, not at all, no.
Oh, good. What I learned today, Boston and Dallas in the NBA Finals, nobody had that 3 weeks ago. And for that matter, nobody sure had it 6 months ago around preseason. It will be the 18th different team of the current 29 possibilities for the Celtics to meet in the playoffs. It'll be the 15th different team for Dallas. Third finals for Dallas, but it was Miami the other two times, be the first different one from Miami. And for Boston, 79 and 56 all time in the finals, and the sixth different team franchise they will have met in the NBA Finals. What a record, what a history the Celtics have.
Wow, yeah, that is incredible. What I could have done without, I teased this earlier, everyone's got their eyes in the golf world in Canada for the Canadian Open, but also the Korn Ferry Tour playing this weekend. And Kevin Velo, who plays on the Korn Ferry Tour, had a interesting day at the office today. Front nine, shot a 27. Which is just incredible,
really good.
Unbelievable. He had a birdie or better on 7 of the 9 first holes, but on the back 9, shot a 41. Not so great day on the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bogeys on the back 9. So shot a 68, but man, it was a very weird 68.
Wonder if he was giving away 17 strokes.
Maybe, might have been.
That's a lot of strokes. Could have done without this. John Calipari's act. It will wear thin quickly at Arkansas. Think about it. The 103.7, the buzz, and first of all, they carry the Razorback games. They are great promoters, great supporters for them. And to give Trey no more time than that when they're used to having a lot of access to those coaches at that event. And I think John Calipari, he better go to a Final Four or he'll wear real thin.
Yeah, I think you're right. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Philly to see the Cardinals, but not to see Mason win, as he's tired and he has to rest. See if they can compete with baseball's best team. Win one, feel okay. Win the series, and the season really will feel rebooted.
No, you're absolutely right. Definitely a big weekend for them. Beam me tonight. Let's go up to Lexington. A good game tonight starting in just a couple of minutes. Illinois and Indiana State, two really fun teams, two teams that can hit the ball. The over-under, 11.5. Brett, I'm thinking maybe over in this one in Lexington.
A lot to choose from this weekend, as we talked about golf and baseball in Toronto and hockey in Dallas and in Miami this weekend. Stanley Cup playoffs, golf all weekend, baseball, college baseball. A lot to choose from. And the Showboats' last home game.
That's right. Sunday night, the Showboats have their last game of the season. Hope everybody gets out to that. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again Monday afternoon.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns.